Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional. Strap in. The show starts right now.
Como están, bitches? This is the Lineman Lounge. I am Mike. That's Evo, and we have got a busy fucking day. As you guys can see, I'm in somewhere new again. I've decided to go and actually get the setup. Hopefully the audio will be better this time than it was last. I went back, listened to it, pretty scratchy. Hopefully I got things kind of worked out on that. We got a busy fucking day. We have got a ton of NFL to go over. There's still more baseball news coming out. We got more draft shit to go over. I had a massively busy morning, but while I get ready to pour myself a drink, Evo, say hello to the people.
How's it going, everybody? As you can see, I am still in my same new setup. It is black walls compared to what everyone else thought. It's just lighting or no lighting. So want to make sure everyone knew that I was in the black room because that was a question last time. I too am drinking. I'm having myself a little rum and coke, some Sailor Jerry's to start off the day, even though it's already 2 in the afternoon, so it's not really starting off the day, but being on that night shift, I like to get started a little bit later. But yeah, it's good to be set up. You're in that kind of semi-permanent, non-permanent setup right now while you are in a transitional state. Again, talking about your location, not your sexual orientation.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm ready to get into some sports talk for you today on Saturday, the 26th of March. Again, we are going through some changes, everybody. So, as we work out the audio kinks and the visual kinks and stuff like that, we hope you bear with us and understand that we're trying to do the best we can to bring you the content and our takes on all the stuff happening in the sports world. But I actually do have one thing I forgot almost. I got to get rid of this hat. So I've been wearing this hat for a while, but I actually got some merch here from a fan of the page and someone that we're a big fan of here at the Lineman Lounge. Our boy David Weinerman, who is $20 is $20 on Twitch and also posts some on Facebook and the YouTube, some of his clips. He also does food reviews as the Vanilla Gorilla on a separate channel. That's Vanilla Gorilla Eats on YouTube. So got to support the channel. He got some merch in. He's going to be having a small merch store open up. If you are interested in getting $20 is $20 gear, you can hit him up while he's live on Twitch or on his Facebook page, and he can lead you in the right direction. He can also hook you up with some deals on Ray's energy drinks because he's an affiliate with them as well. So he asked if I wanted a $20 is $20 hat to help support the channel. I said, fuck yeah. And then he asked what color I want, and I said, give me the pretty pink one. So I got this pretty pink hat, and I'm completely fine in my masculinity.
Yeah, so those are dope. No more purple walls. They were never purple. They were always black. It was the purple light.
Always black.
Let's go ahead and hit that light again for me so they understand.
Boom.
Boom, there we go. So it looks super dope. I do like the black walls, but purple also looks really, really good. So yeah, $20 is $20. Huge fan of his. He's been on the show, and yeah, that's pretty dope hat. I'd rock a pink hat. I'm definitely a hat guy.
We were talking a little bit before the show. Mike and I were talking, and we had conversations at work. So we're encroaching episode 69.
We are definitely,
which is a great number. And so we might have to do something for the 69th show. But $20 is $20. Vanilla Gorilla, David Weinerman, the man, the myth, the legend, or as some of us are calling him now at work as well, the Vanilla Chinchilla.
There we go. I like that.
he was on our 50th episode where we did the 50 nugget challenge. We both, Dave and I, pounded down 50 Wendy's nuggets, and he did it quicker than me. I was talking a little bit more. He was just focused on putting down the nugs. It looked like he struggled a little bit, and I remember asking him, I was like, "You all right, Dave?" And he was like, "Yeah, I'm good," because I heard a whoop. Turns out that, yeah, he almost fucking let her rip there. But we've talked about what are we going to do for this 100th episode, and just, a little bit of funniness for y'all. Dave is actually...
interesting things that have come out.
Yeah, he's currently in a weight loss challenge because Dave is a big guy. He's a big, sexy hunk of a man. And he, is doing this weight loss challenge. He's going keto, which he's done before and doing a great job with it, sticking to that diet. But he's saying that at the end of the weight loss challenge, he's going to pound a couple bottles of magnesium citrate to help him out right before the weigh-in. For those of you who don't know, magnesium citrate, you can go to your local drugstore or supermarket and find it. It's in a glass bottle. It tastes like ass. It tastes like, I've had like the lemon lime before, but it's a Sprite-like flavor for the lemon lime, except for extremely tart, difficult to get down, but you pound it, and then within 30 minutes, God unleashes hellfire from your asshole. It absolutely will break your porcelain if you don't have a strong toilet. And it works like that for at least 6 hours. It feels like someone's pulling a string through my insides, and with that string comes everything that is in my bowels. So it will dehydrate you. It will clean you out of any substances in your body as far as like food or anything like that stuck in your colon, and you'll drop a couple pounds for sure. So Dave's talking about how he's going to be doing this at the end of his weight loss challenge, right? And I was like, hey, 100th episode, we don't want to just do 100 nugs again or something like that. We can't do 100 shots of liquor because alcohol poisoning will die. And I was like, we should just pound bottles of magnesium citrate on the 100th episode and see who shits himself first. Mike's response was,
I'm out. Nah, fuck, I'm not shitting my pants. But I've shit my pants before. It's not a pleasant experience.
As an adult, I've shit my pants. And anyone that says that they haven't, they're fucking lying. But for the show, for the program, I'll wear adult diapers and I'll poop myself.
Listen, I put up a bet on my first deployment to Afghanistan because it's not a normal, natural thing to be able to just shit your pants. Okay,
right.
You will try everything in your being to not allow that to happen, and it's so hard to just commit as an adult. Like, I'm gonna shit my pants on this. So I said, anybody who does it, I will pay $100. It was not until the day we were leaving country that anybody took me up on that, because nobody wanted to do it. I am not signing up for something where I know I'm shitting my pants.
Hey, on a bet of $100, I'd shit my pants right now, and I'm in clothes that I want to keep. I'm about them stacks, baby.
Yeah.
But if you told me that as the words were coming out of your mouth, I'd say I'm in, and I would poop. I would defecate, especially on deployment, because for those of you who are not or in the military spectrum, you get ADO, you get a clothing allowance monthly while you're over there, and you can order new uniforms. I would go over with at least 8 uniforms, and I would wear 4 for the first half of the deployment, 4 for the second half, and then I would rotate in a couple new ones that I would get through that ADO supply. I would just be like, I'm losing a uniform today for $100. Oh well. Regardless.
Yeah,
Dave, as I'm saying this stuff to him about what we should do for the 100th episode, that we should take a whole bunch of magnesium citrate, see who shits himself first, he just starts going off about, yeah, let's do that. We'll pound 2 bottles of magnesium citrate, which I've only ever done 1, so 2 is scary. And then he says, and we'll take Viagra.
I'm not. Listen.
Why? Why are we taking Viagra? Am I going to just be getting bricked up in the middle of a sports talk podcast with a bunch of dudes? And then,
baby.
Like, it's I don't know. I'm not against getting bricked up, all right? But what's my end state goal? Yeah. do I win if I get a boner? I could fucking pop wood right now if I really need to. But
TRT is very helpful with that.
yeah, we're on that black water.
On that,
on that juice. Yeah. So, anyways, good idea from Dave, but we're not gonna do it. We're not gonna be shitting our pants, and we're not gonna be throwing the meat missiles around here. But as the 69th episode comes up, if anyone has any ideas, feel free to send us some ideas for the 69th episode. Unfortunately, Mike and I can't literally 69 for it.
No, I'm out on that as well. By the way, so producer Amber just told me my mic is quiet. I don't know how it sounded now for everybody out there.
You sound all right to me.
Okay. Well, obviously, producer Amber's out there listening, so give me a knock on the door or something. Let me know when it sounds good.
Call into the Lineman Lounge hotline and let us know how it's working.
Because I'm not on my phone.
Yeah.
So, still pretty quiet, huh?
Interesting. Well, either ways, if you have any ideas for our 100th episode, we have to do something. We have to make it special. So that 100th episode, let us know if you have any cool challenges or anything that you'd like us to do.
Hello.
We plan on doing
a little bit better. Producer Amber, go ahead, drop a comment. Let me know how this shit sounds.
Still sounds generally fine to me. But yeah, we plan on doing competitions and things like that throughout the show anyways, whether it's hot dog eating challenges for Nathan's hot dog, things like that.
That is 100% going down. We're doing the hot dog challenge when 4th of July comes around. That is one I might actually even participate in. I will fucking down some glizzies, no problem.
Yeah. I'll coat my throat in KY and let them just slide on down. And that's not just for Nathan's. But if you have any good ideas, let us know. The 100 nugs thing, it's a little played out now because we already did the 50.
We did it.
And to be completely honest, I just don't want to eat 100 nugs worth of processed meat. It was brought up yesterday to do 100 pizza rolls, and I was like, that sounds delicious. And in my youth, I know I could eat an entire bag of Totino's, but that's
just so much.
It's about the same as like the physical size of a pizza roll compared to one of those nugs is about the same. So
yeah,
if we were doing that, if we were doing that, I am taking the magnesium citrate and wearing a diaper. You won't see me the waist down, and I'll just be pooping it out as I eat.
You'll know that something has happened. I would have.
Yeah, I'll be.
There's gonna be a little.
As I should. Now I'm wondering. So as we talked, Mike and I did talk a little bit before the show. Maybe what Amber's hearing a little bit too is when we both talk over one another. I do notice that Mike's mic cuts out a little bit. Again, it's part of the audio stuff that we're having to work through here. So
yeah. So when we try to talk at the same time, one of us is cutting out, and I think yours is kicking my ass right now. I'm still working on the audio here, guys. I mean, how's this? I feel like I'm spiking now, though.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little raspy.
It's a little much, I think. I'll turn it up a little bit. We'll give it a little bit of juice. But I also don't want to spike too much. But, okay, so we're going to get off of talking about future episodes and shit.
And shitting. And getting fat wiener boners.
So before we actually transition into the show, we said we were gonna be.
I'm wearing a pink hat. Man. I gotta talk about big old boners.
I mean, to each their own. I like pink, but we'll leave it there. So, something I kind of wanted to start doing is, obviously, we always typically have a few drinks on the show and a way to kind of engage and do some stuff on other social medias, right? Because obviously, you guys know we got Facebook, right? We got 380 members on that Facebook group. That thing is going up. We're getting more people on the Twitter at linemanlounge.com. Or at linemanlounge.com, Jesus Christ. At Lineman Lounge on Twitter. Just added some more in there. I was on Spaces last week and got quite a few more followers out of that. One thing that I've constantly neglected is fucking TikTok. But everybody's got a shtick on TikTok, right? And I was trying to figure out what the fuck my shtick was going to be for the show. Well, this is the Lineman Lounge. We like to have a few drinks. So I'm going to just kind of throw together some random shit and make some delicious drinks, which is what I did today. Now, obviously, I can't do this for TikTok right this minute. I got nobody else in the room. Producer Amber is making sure our kids don't fucking wreak havoc in this house. But I'm going to share, kind of what I did. I wanted something refreshing today because I was outside all goddamn morning. We're going to talk about that in a little bit when we actually dive into the show. So I needed something a little refreshing. Well, out in the garage, there was this little Mike's Hard Seltzer. By the way, not a sponsor. Could be if they asked. And it's too fucking sweet. This is too much. Like, this is a fucking 12 ounces of sugar. Well, as we were moving out of our old house, which is currently, under contract, kinda, we're accepting backup offers. We were moving out, and our friends came over. The Sweets, Kyle and Stephanie, also friends of the show. They came over like, hey, we know you guys are moving out, but take all this goddamn liquor we're not going to drink because somebody will drink it. So they gave me this, right? Little bottle of tequila, right? But there was nothing in it. It was just a little mixer. So empty bottle, and there's a little infuser in the bottom, and the instructions tell you, just pour your favorite tequila in there, and it will turn into this delicious beverage. Well, that's a goddamn lie, and I learned that the fucking hard way. It was just strawberry tequila, and taking it straight to the dome was not the greatest decision in the world when I tried it. So I needed something refreshing. This is too sweet. This is pure goddamn tequila. So we did a little mixture. We go with the little Mike's seltzer. We take some strawberry infused tequila. We mix those together, and we get that first beverage for the Lineman Lounge, fucking beverage of the week. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to call this. Hopefully gone here in a little bit because I am thirsty as shit. The kids drank my water while we were out in the field.
Mike's Sweet Tartanass.
Ooh, Mike's Sweet Tartanass. I like that. I'll go with that. Cheers, baby.
Cheers. Again, I'm just having the OG Sailor Jerry's.
Okay, that's good. So obviously I'm a big whiskey guy, but I'm not just gonna pour a glass of whiskey. I mean, everybody's seen that. We're gonna mix it up when we start doing these videos for the TikToks on the Lineman Lounge drink of the week. That way you can sit back and have an interesting little drink that you may or may not have the ingredients for. I'm one of those people that I open up the cupboard and I'm like, what the fuck are we having for dinner tonight? And I'll throw 6 random things together and it comes out as a meal. I'm also going to try to do a little bit of that with all the goddamn liquor I have because it is abundant and I don't drink it steadily enough, so it just piles up and piles up.
Absolutely.
But
all right, man.
Let's dive into the show. Let's do the youth sports stuff this morning, and then we'll get into all the other shit that we wanted to talk about.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this morning, I love baseball, guys. Everybody knows I love baseball. We're going to talk a little bit about baseball today. But this morning was opening ceremonies for the Little League here in Sierra Vista. It's always a pretty good time, except for it's an absolute clusterfuck because we got, 500 kids out there trying to get all lined up so they can do the opening ceremonies, get introduced. Hey, this is the coach. All that fun shit that allows everybody to be introduced. Different divisions. We ended up standing there a whole bunch. I mean, it's fun. It's cool. Producer Amber actually got involved this year. She read the Parents' Pledge. Spicy Mike came up to her as we were all getting there. Spicy Mike is one of the board members of Sierra Vista Little League. Asked her if she would read the pledge. Also allowed her to lock the girls in one of the dugouts while we were getting ready. Might make the drinks, evil name. I'm good with that. I am totally good with that. So she did the pledge. The boys had a good time. We got Isaac and Jackson with us, as well as Malachi. Those are,
the Cooper kids.
But 2 of them play baseball, so it was an absolute just clusterfuck trying to get everything going. Plus, Sierra Vista is the most god-awful city when it comes to making sure things are, not conflicting with each other. So there was flag football, there's opening day for baseball, and there was a goddamn bike race around town for all the olds to go and fuck up traffic.
Tour de Zona.
Tour to get the fuck out of the road. It's annoying as shit. I don't think this is a call for the show. I'm going to decline that and just text her.
Oh.
That would be Lacey Cooper.
Get her live on the Lineman Lounge.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, fuck it.
And Lacey Cooper, you're live on the Lineman Lounge.
Hello.
Call Amber. We're doing a podcast currently, unless you were called in for the show.
No, not for the show. Sorry.
Lacey doesn't want to tell us anything about cheerleading?
Yeah, what happened with the cheer competition, Lacey?
We haven't gone yet, but I will keep the Lineman Lounge up to date.
All right, there we go.
Please do.
It will be a non-affiliated cheer squad there, so everybody better be cheering them on.
Okay, I don't know what that non-affiliated thing means, but...
Okay. All right,
thank you.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Special guest, Lacey Cooper.
Yes, Lacey Cooper, who's not expecting that at all. Yeah, so we did that, had baseball, that shit, and took the boys. Then we went and got some food. That took an eternity as well because everybody in town was out. And then we had football. Football was fucking awesome today. We have been going back and forth with this team from Tucson. We won the first game. They won the second game. Today was, the rubber match, and it was tightly contested the entire way. We scored first, missed our 2-point. They come back, score, tied at half, going in 6-6. Nobody had mixed their extra points. They come out, they get the ball in the second half. They score, and it is, not looking great. We were getting a little tired, and, we come back. We make a big play, tie the game up. They go and make a big mistake. They try to throw it over our one of our best players, our safety, probably going to be defensive player of the year for our league, and we get a pick. We go down. We pin them deep. We are unable to get it in the end zone, and then finally it happens. We have been waiting on this young man, David. He has scored several times for us this year. He is fast as goddamn lightning, but he has troubles catching the ball. Well, we're in a third down situation, and we just let it rip. We are going for the gusto. David, 10, 20 yards behind everybody because nobody can keep up with him. Catches a beautiful ball, laid into the basket, takes it down for 6. We take the 2-point conversion. We get that, and we're able to hold on for the win, 22-20. They did come down, get a late touchdown, but missed the extra point for the tie, and we were able to hold on. We take that rubber match. It was exciting. I was incredibly proud of those boys. I was so fucking hot and yelling. My voice is actually a little bit hoarse.
It's always
one
hot.
of the reasons I wanted one of these refreshing drinks. Because I just got from 8:30 this morning until 1:15ish when I got home. I've been outside in the South Arizona heat. It was a lot. Thank God for alcohol though. And those boys, man, we showed up when we had to. I told them earlier this week. I know they beat us last time, but I basically told my team I guaranteed them the win. There was no fucking way we were losing this game. They showed up and they made it happen. Super proud of the boys.
Awesome. That's like you said, guaranteeing the win. It's tough to do that because there's no guarantees out there. But with youth sports, if the coaching is able to come together and put forward that sort of a front where they're able to give that much confidence in the boys or in those youth sports teams, that makes a huge difference in those youth sports. As you get older, it is a lot more of the interpersonal confidence that the boys have to build for football, baseball, any of those sports. But especially with those youth sports, if the coaches are that into it, I remember I was like, they're this confident in us. Like, obviously, we got to make sure that they're right. Like, we can't prove them wrong. So that's awesome. Awesome that you guys got that win today. So congratulations on that.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that. And then, I'm excited. We're not going to get the finished sports seasons here, and for everybody who is watching, who has been at work. No, I do not have an official job offer yet, so I'm still employed here in Arizona. I will continue to stay here until I get that official offer, assuming it comes. So I'm anticipating getting as much sports in this year here in Service as we can. Once we get that approval, we're heading out to Ohio, and I'm going to find as many youth sports as I can to get Graydon signed up in. I'm going to make his ass wrestle, too. I don't think he wants to, but good wrestlers make great fucking football players, so that's happening.
Absolutely.
All right, man. I think I have hammered home that. We have had a nice little intro getting the show started, letting it fucking rip, letting the nuts swing. So we're ready to kind of dive into this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think first segment that you kind of wanted to talk about was Major League Baseball?
Yeah, so I did want to talk about Major League Baseball. We talked about it. There have been some rule changes. Some of those rules they have gone back on. They're going to keep that fucking runner on second base to start extra innings. I don't know. I hate it. And what I hate more about it is the fact that they call it a ghost runner, because that's not what it is. It's not a ghost runner. There's somebody literally goddamn there. Ghost runners are when you are playing a little inter squad game and you don't have enough people on to maintain people on base. There's literally somebody there. So I don't like the rule. I cannot stand the runner on second. They are making the bases bigger. Now, I was talking about this with Spicy Mike the other day. We were talking about, different sizes of baseball fields. Certain kids play on certain sizes. Major League Baseball plays on 60 and 90, okay? 60 feet, 6 inches for the mound to home, and 90 feet to the bases. So is the original place going to stay where the bases were, and they're going to make the bases bigger, technically making the base closer than 90 feet? Or are they going to have to move where all of the bases are placed so it's still at least 90 feet away, and then the bases are just bigger? I don't know that Major League Baseball's come out with an answer to that, and that makes a big difference. Those throws to first base happen like that. Those are split second decisions. If it's slightly closer, that could be a lot of plays at first that now they're getting called safe, especially with the advent of replay, where we can go back and check these fucking things out.
Yeah, that's the difference in inches doesn't seem big to a lot of people, other than for the guys who are watching. An inch makes a huge difference, and
Correct.
In baseball, in that throw, even an inch will make a big difference, because these plays are coming down to like nanoseconds of did the ball get into the glove and did the runner's foot touch the base when crossing that first base path. So you see these on Sports Center highlights and stuff like that all the time, where it's extremely close. An inch of difference is going to make a huge, or will be a huge factor if those bases are moved. I would think that if they make the bases bigger, your first and third base don't really have to move, but because
first base is going to have to, because if it's closer, that's when those plays are going to be even tighter. Second base maybe doesn't move, but
I feel like second base gets pushed out further.
Yeah, we all want them because we want them 90 feet, man. I don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah. Geometry, I'm okay with it,
right?
But this is like I said, when we talked about these rule changes, I voiced a little bit of apprehension just because I don't like changing the game that much. I understand player safety things and stuff, and the NFL has adopted new rules, and that's definitely where my focus is more towards the NFL and their rule changes, which we can talk about. One of the potential ones that's been brought up,
which I
today.
think we should.
But it's with NFL, it's weird because they are adjusting rules that they've been adjusting for a long time. You're fundamentally changing a physical object in the game when you're changing the bases in baseball by changing the base size. We're not changing the size of a football. We're not changing the size of the football field. if we're changing these rules. But with baseball, it would be like saying, oh, we're going to go with a slightly larger or smaller baseball. Or we're going to go with a baseball that has more tack on it so that way pitchers can get more spin on the ball. Like, that seems like you are fundamentally changing the game rather than just changing some of the rules. So I'm a little weird with that. And the whole second baseman or guy on second base starting extra innings, it seems like you're starting to get a little bit more gimmicky. I guess I could understand it, but I'm not super harsh one way or the other on it. But if I have to default to something, it's going to be let's not go around changing these rules.
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, we did this in the COVID year to speed up games because they were going to be 7-inning doubleheaders, and we had to get a fucking season in. We're not in that anymore. COVID is dead. I don't know if you guys have seen the NFL. COVID's fucking gone. All you have to do is say that, no, we don't want to do it anymore. And
Putin killed COVID.
Voila. Yeah, Putin did kill COVID. But there's a lot of other shit that we're worried about besides fucking COVID now. It's like we gotta do something else. I don't like it. It's not normal fucking baseball. Now, we've seen rule changes in the past that have really kind of changed the game in the NFL. Like especially with the special teams changing where they kick off from, so we're not getting nearly as many returns. I'm not a huge fan of that shit either, but I don't want that in my baseball. I want it.
I feel it.
So,
all right, you got anything else with baseball you want to talk about?
So something. Just a couple headlines. Shohei Ohtani is going to start on opening day. And he's going to fucking hit DH. This guy is goddamn believable. So he's starting on opening day, which means he's the best pitcher in their rotation. He's the best hitter in their best hitter in their lineup.
There was a rule change with him specifically, like the Shohei Ohtani rule, right? That's being implemented.
If there is, I missed that. So do you know?
Maybe it was a dream. I believe it's something to do with the designated hitter is changing in baseball, things like that. It has to do with Shohei Ohtani is pitching. He's also going to be hitting as a designated hitter. If he gets pulled out of the lineup from pitching, he can still remain the designated hitter. I believe is the rule change. Something along those lines that I had read in a tweet recently.
Okay, so and that would be very tough for him to hit and DH in the same game because, I mean, now you're going to have things like that because there's a universal DH. So I like this rule. Allows Shohei to stay in the fucking game and keep hitting goddamn bombs, whereas before if he gets pulled, he's not going to be able to stay in. So, I mean, I'm good with that. Shohei is fucking badass. He's the best player in baseball right now. I mean, people will argue with me. The only other guy that would even remotely have a chance to say that they're the best player in baseball would be Mike Trout, who is ungodly good, would probably go down as the greatest of all time if he stays fucking healthy for a season. Like he's got to keep putting seasons together where he stays healthy. But Shohei just does things that people cannot do besides him, and it's unbelievable. So I'm pumped for Shohei to DH and start opening day. That there's another thing that nobody has probably ever fucking done before. So
yeah, I would have to. I don't know that I would agree outright, but I'm almost there that Ohtani's the best player in baseball. He's absolutely by far and away the most fun player in baseball, though, and that's what baseball needs is fun shit to bring fans to the game and watch.
Well, not if you're Rob fucking Manfred, because the quicker we can bury baseball, the better. Because that goddamn moron.
I pulled up the Shohei Ohtani rule, which is it's being called the Shohei Ohtani rule. I don't know that that's actually what's going to be put in the rule book, but it says with the new designated hitter now being universal, what is being called the Shohei Ohtani rule will allow a pitcher who is also in the lineup as a hitter to stay in the game as the DH, even if he is removed from the mound. So if Shohei is pitching and gets yanked after 5 innings, he can stay in his usual spot as the Angels' DH.
That's awesome, man. So that is one thing that baseball is doing it right, I think, is allowing that to happen. Because We want the most exciting player in baseball to be on the field as much as fucking possible. Like, that's how you grow the goddamn league that is dying. Now, baseball is not dying. College baseball is as popular as ever. Youth baseball is not going fucking anywhere. That was evident today with how many kids we had out for opening ceremonies. But Major League Baseball is losing fans by the droves. And, I mean, that's not even diving into what the fuck the Guardians are not doing. The Guardians are going to have a really bad year in terms of making money, even though they're not spending any, because they won't spend any. They won't go out. They won't sign free agents. We don't have enough guys in the bullpen as it is. We have Karinchak going down today. So this is obviously just me venting as a Guardians fan. They have done nothing, right? So what is going to drive these fans to go out and watch this team and get people in the ballpark to root for their guys? Nothing. This is a problem. This is one of the things that I'm sad didn't get done in the CBA was a minimum salary for these teams, because people are not going to go out there and watch a $38 million team when Max Scherzer is making $38 million himself in New York playing for the Mets. It's just not going to happen that way. So baseball needs to find a way to pump its best people up. Let's get people in the fucking ballparks. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to go. I'm going to go watch, especially with how many fans aren't going to be there. I'd be willing to bet them tickets are going to get real cheap. So I'm going to try to get out there and watch as many games as I can.
But I haven't been to a pro baseball game since maybe 2012, 2013, and I went down to Houston to watch my Twins play the Astros. Took a quick road trip after work and caught a weekend of baseball. But even then, those tickets weren't bad. I remember one of my favorite things in high school and college was I could go to a Twins game, especially on Wednesday nights, which was student night, and it was also Dollar Dog night, and I could get into the park, and it was nosebleed seats, but it was $15. So you're paying carpool with the boys. You're paying maybe $15 for a parking spot. Yep. Get in for $15, and then drop at least 5 glizzies, and you're spending a total of $30 for a night out.
Yeah, so the game that Amber and I went to in Cleveland during our honeymoon, it was Dollar Dog night. There was fucking Jose Ramirez bobblehead night. I mean, so we were going to get some shit. It was a great night. Indians won, beat the Yankees, which is always fucking good. And it was exciting, right? But that Guardians team, I don't want to call them the I word too many times, but when we went and watched them, that's what they were. That was an exciting team. This team is not exciting. A lot of things about baseball are not exciting right now. Now, I think there's a potential for massive change of me saying that. I think it's entirely possible that with the DH being universal, we're going to see some numbers put up by some of these National League teams that we've never fucking seen before. Some run scores that are just out of this goddamn world. There's a lot of guys that had to play in the American League because they were DH. They're terrible fucking fielders. Now we had these NL lineups that were stacked, like the Braves team from last year that we saw in the World Series. When they had that extra guy in the lineup, holy shit, they were amazing. And now that guy's going to be in the lineup every fucking day. Let's go. Another thing that why we're talking so much about baseball is your boys are about to go make some motherfucking money in a baseball fantasy league, and we don't know shit about it.
I have frequented fantasy football for quite some time.
Yeah.
And I consider myself to be a pretty good fantasy football player. I don't know that I have ever gotten lower than like 3rd place in a league. Fantasy baseball and the money aspect of it and all that stuff, because I've done keeper leagues in fantasy football. I've never done leagues where you have like a cap or a spending limit.
Salary cap league in baseball. So we are brand new to this. We have no idea what the fuck we're doing. But I promise you, your boys are going to find a way to make it work.
We're going to have to.
Oh, yeah, because I'm not shelling out the money that we're shelling out to come home empty. I mean,
Right.
This is going to drive content, and it's going to drive up the fucking bank accounts, baby.
I fucking hope so.
Yeah,
I'm going to be leaning heavily on you.
so I know dudes, I know players. Now, the setting of the lineups, I am unsure of because there's a baseball game every goddamn day. We are going to have to do some research on how often we have to do the lineups to make sure that people are playing when they need to be so we can win some of these matchups. Now, I did go through and I did set up our keepers just because, well, the team that we took over from a guy that dropped out had a pretty decent squad. I'm also kind of playing a little bit into the comeback game here. So our old squad had Ronald Acuna Jr., one of the best players in baseball, out towards ACL. He is expected back mid-May DHing because he can now do that in the National League. I don't care if he fucking plays in the outfield or not. I don't think any of those stats are tracked. I think it's all offensive stats. So we kept Ronald Acuna, we kept Manny Machado, we kept Chris Bryant, who is moving to Colorado and is going to hit so many fucking bombs playing up there at Mile High. We kept Ketel Marte, who positional flexibility is very, very nice. He's the only player on the Arizona Diamondbacks who's worth a shit. And then we also kept Ryan Mountcastle, who is rookie last year, had a really good rookie season. I took a flyer on him, hoping he can back up his really good rookie season, and he's fairly cheap. And then we only kept one pitcher, Corbin Burns. He was fantastic last year. So we're going to try to fill out the rest of this roster. I think I spent like $130 on our keepers, so we got like $130 worth when it comes to draft time. I don't 100% know how that's going to work yet, but we'll figure that out. We might even do a little special Lineman Lounge and see if we can get some other baseball people in here with us to draft this fucking team.
Spicy Mike might be helpful there. Now, look, I've got my Amazon cart open here on the screen. I'm ordering Moneyball, The Art of Winning an Unfair Game by Michael Lewis on order to channel my inner Billy Bean.
Maybe.
I gotta figure out how to fucking make this work because I am lost in the sauce currently.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. This is going to be a steep learning curve. This league that we're hopping into has been running since 2008. But I tell you what, if the Lineman Lounge comes in and fucking rakes up a whole stack of cash year one,
We're gonna get kicked out real quick.
I don't know if your boys will be invited back.
All right, man. Well,
So I'm good with baseball, man.
All right. Well, something else that's been going on recently here in March that we actually haven't really touched on, and we probably should have, is March Madness in the NCAA. All right, so men's NCAA March Madness basketball has been going on, and we are at the point where we've reached the Elite Eight. All right, so me personally, not being a huge basketball fan, and even probably less so a basketball fan in college, I couldn't tell you who's good, who's bad, anything like that. You know the normal names of teams that are real good, but what I've been noticing, passively watching, is that we've had a lot of upsets happen so far.
My bracket's fucking dead.
And that's, I believe, after like the first round, most people's brackets were fucked.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but we have made it to the Elite Eight, and in that Elite Eight, we still do have a Cinderella story happening. So, right now, the Elite Eight is Arkansas and Duke.
Currently taking on. I'm sorry, not. Go ahead. I jumped ahead of you. Go ahead.
Arkansas and Duke. That game is going to be happening today, if it isn't already.
I thought it started, but it has not started yet.
Yep. Then we have, and that's out of the West, all right? Out of the South bracket, we have Houston and Villanova. We are hoping for our Arizona Wildcats to continue on, especially for all of our fans here in Arizona.
No. So you are a little bit behind. That team you're supposed to be seeing there is Villanova.
That's why I said it's Villanova and Houston. Arizona.
Okay, I misheard.
Arizona lost, unfortunately, to Houston in the last 2 days, I believe. But it is Houston and Villanova, and they are playing today at 6:09 p.m. I don't know what time zone this is.
I got the bracket pulled up right now. So the bracket that I got, so Arkansas, Duke, they're not started yet. Villanova and Houston is currently live, from what I'm saying.
All right. Then we have in the Midwest. In the Midwest, we've got KU, Kansas, and Miami playing tomorrow. And then the Cinderella that we were talking about is out of the East. We've got St. Peter's, who won over number 3 Purdue. This is number 15 St. Peter's. Beat Purdue last night, 67-64. And they're going to be playing UNC. That's North Carolina, the number 8 seed here in the Elite 8. So your Elite 8 is Arkansas, Duke, Houston, Villanova, KU, Miami, and UNC versus St. Peter's University.
Yeah, so what I see out of this is that the Pac-12 and the Big Ten were drastically overrated again. This become a theme a little bit. SEC, we got some SEC, we got a lot of ACC. It's just this St. Peter's team, man, is captivating. So I have not watched much college basketball. I was able to catch a little bit of this St. Peter's team. That team is fucking legit, dude. This 15 seed, they could make it. They're not going to win a national championship, okay? They might make the Final Four, though. They could beat North Carolina. That squad is legit. Now, and there's some other teams in here I did not expect. This Houston team is amazing. They're playing really good. Miami, I did not see that either. Like my bracket, I had Kentucky, I had Gonzaga, I had Villanova, and I had Kansas in my Final Four. I'm down to one goddamn team left, and I'm not happy about it. My bracket's completely fucked. But this St. Peter's team, like, when there are big storylines that happen in college basketball, like when we finally saw a 16 beat a 1. That was unbelievable. It had never happened before. Then finally it happened, right? I don't think a 15 has ever made the Final Four. I'm not sure if 15's ever made the Elite 8. We're gonna have to look that up. But this team is on a fucking run, and they could beat UNC. They are legit from what I saw.
Yeah, so I always am an underdog guy. The Bengals this year in the Super Bowl were technically the underdogs. I was rooting for those Bengals. You know, I like rooting for the underdog team, and that's one of the beauties of this bracket is that you have seeds that are 15 seeds in there that people don't even. Can you tell me where St. Peter's University is?
Not a fucking clue.
I couldn't either. That was the question yesterday. St. Peter's University, where are they from? From St. Peter's University. I don't know. I'll look it up here real quick.
Yeah, I think that could be Florida.
New Jersey.
Wow.
Jersey City, New Jersey. Yeah.
Jersey City, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Okay.
So again, it's a team that people don't know, and
I have never heard of St. Peter's before this year. This is like Florida Gulf Coast a couple of years ago. Fucking Dunk City. They were the talk of the tournament. Now that's St. Peter's. Like this team is going to ride this high for a little bit. They're going to get some recruits probably because of this run that they're making. And it's fantastic for the program. It's good for college basketball. I mean, we always see the Blue Bloods, right? It's Duke, Villanova, Gonzaga, Kansas, Michigan State, North Carolina. Those guys, oh yeah, I expect those assholes to make the Elite 8 every year. And when they don't, I'm surprised and everybody counts it as a fucking failure. When we get at St. Peter's, let's fucking go. That's when this shit's exciting for me.
Now, if St. Peter's is not, and it's the St. Peter Peacocks, if they aren't busing every fucking student down to New Orleans right now for this tournament, they're fucking up.
I feel like St. Peter's has got to be a private school as well. So these kids are paying out the ass in tuition. That's $27,000. I'm about to look up the tuition at St. Peter's because I guarantee this school could afford.
It is a private university.
Yep, I'm not surprised.
They're Division I members of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, MAAC.
St. Peter's University tuition. Let's check this out.
Either way, as a passive basketball fan, and even more so probably of a passive fan of college basketball, I will absolutely be rooting for St. Peter's the whole way because I love seeing upsets. I love seeing that Cinderella story. And I might have missed this comment earlier from Facebook user. We know you like it on the bottom, Evo. You're goddamn right I do.
Power bottom.
Power bottom.
Pushing back.
Pushing P.
Pushing P. I had to figure out what the fuck that meant for a while. I was not sure.
Yeah, it's pretty sad when you hit that age where you're not getting the youth references as much anymore, and you have to hit the old Google machine on the Naked Lady Giver. And what does this mean? And I definitely had to do that with Pushing P originally because I assumed that it was pushing paper, pushing penis, something like that.
God, I just found the tuition at fucking St. Peter's University.
And
$38,760 a year. They had better bust these fucking kids down and get them in the stadium for $38,000 a year. Holy fuck!
yeah, no shit.
That's more money than a good portion of the United States population makes in an annual salary.
Yeah, that's very true.
Jeez. Okay, I don't want to get political on how much goddamn college costs.
We're going to pivot now and get into...
Yeah, let's go ahead and we'll pivot there. Jesus Christ, that's so much money.
Uh-huh. All right, man. So either way, we are in the Elite Eight. Those games are going on starting today and finishing up tomorrow for the Elite Eight before we get on to the Final Four. So make sure to tune into that. Hopefully you've got a bracket still running. I would be willing to put money that you don't. At least not an original bracket.
It's completely dog shit at this point. The only team I really got left is Kansas, and I had them losing in the Final Four.
Alrighty.
Well, I don't know if they're in it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know that they're going to lose to Miami, but we'll see.
All right. So, drink number 2, gentlemen. I did the same thing I did before. However, this time I went with a Bud Light Seltzer. Also, not a sponsor. Could be if they asked. Peach. Not a big peach guy. This one's not as good as the mango on the Mike's Hard. So
I'll just go with more rum.
there you go. A little Sailor Jerry's. You drinking it straight, or are you doing it with Coke?
Rum and Coke. You know, I got stuff to do the rest of the day. I can't be completely fucking hammered.
I mean,
Oh!
oh God, oh no.
Fuck! Oh well.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna happen. I can hear it fizzing, by the way.
Nice. As long as it doesn't get on my computer setup, because it's cost too much money to fix. All right. Well, now that we're done with the March Madness with baseball, are you ready to kick into a little bit of the NFL?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, I am ready. Because I mean, we've been doing I feel like we've been very engaging. It's very fun, but we got quite a bit of shit talking about. We're already an hour in, man.
Yeah. So the NFL, last time that we talked to you guys was 1 week ago on the 19th of March. And as we kind of alluded to, there's going to be more shit going down. Obviously, as the show was going on, we were watching the Deshaun Watson trade news happen and speculating about what the future of Baker Mayfield would be. Baker Mayfield is still a Brown right now, and he might be staying a Brown. I don't know.
He's going to be a Brown for a while.
For a while?
Yeah, so he won't be traded before June 1. He won't be cut before June 1. I'm starting to lean towards the fact that they might hold on and make him sit out of games. Because if he does that, they can fine him and take away his salary. It's very contentious right now in Cleveland on what's happening with that situation.
Yep. So for everyone's knowledge, Deshaun Watson obviously traded to the Cleveland Browns. He's passed his physicals. He signed his contract. He was put in front of another grand jury in Texas over the past couple days, and again they decided not to indict him. This doesn't play well for those civil cases against him, at least not for the plaintiffs in those civil cases. But it is what it is, and we talked a lot last episode, Mike, very passionately about the situation and how fans of the team should feel. And regardless of what happens, he's looking down the barrel of a very real suspension. And how long that suspension is going to be, we're not too sure. I'm leaning more towards the NFL trying to give some sort of a maximum sentence of games off now because of all of the outcry from a lot of that Cleveland Browns community and stuff like that. I feel like the NFL in today's climate is going to try to do what they can to save as much face as they can and seem like they are doing quote unquote the right thing, whether or not you believe, one side or the other. They're going to try to take him away for as many games as they can to punish him what they feel is appropriate in this current landscape. But that leaves the Browns with the question of who is going to be the quarterback for this year. Right. Obviously Deshaun Watson going forward, long term is your guy, but who's going to be quarterback for this year? Baker said that he's upset about this whole situation. He wants to be traded, but that market has kind of dried up because we've had some more moves that we're going to get into here that have changed the quarterback market a little bit. But Baker is still a Cleveland Brown right now on that fifth-year option. They could very realistically, as Mike said, keep Baker and have him play until Deshaun Watson is ready to play or unsuspended. And this would be a real rough situation. Now, that I've talked about this before. The way that Tua handled the whole Deshaun Watson situation was fantastic on his part. Baker has done kind of the opposite of it, and it's changed my view on Baker a little bit. I understand the frustrations and things like that, but at the end of the day, you're playing the most important position in football, and you're paying one of the, if not the most highly paid position in football. You're on your fifth-year option. You will be going to another team here in the next year at the most, if not earlier. It is best to put your best foot forward and take this as an opportunity to put a chip on your shoulder, which he's always had a chip on his shoulder.
Right.
And if he has to play this year for the Browns, he takes that moxie and that suck my dick mentality, and he balls the fuck out. And he makes the Browns regret trading for Deshaun Watson because
that would be great.
They're going to get rid of him one way or the other. And then that's just going to earn him more money in a bigger contract wherever his next spot is. However, he kind of took that different approach, and he's kind of he's been a bit of a baby about it, man. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. I love Baker, but he has been kind of a bitch about this entire situation. If he just fucking shuts up, right? Now, I think he did know that something was possibly going to happen. I don't think that the front office did a good job of communicating with their quarterback, right? I get it. Listen, not everybody gets that communication. You can ask Aaron Rodgers how much communication really fucking matters to a front office, even if you're the best of the generation. He's not the best of all time, Aaron's not. But he is the best of his generation, probably, because he's a little later than Tom, I would say. Because Tom's generation, to me, he's outlived his generation. He is playing with guys who are from the second generation.
When you're talking to Tom, you're talking the closest direct competition in his generation being Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning. Yeah, that's his generation. Now he's fucking encroaching on other generations at this point because he's playing so goddamn long. Best of his generation probably is Aaron Rodgers, and you know who didn't talk to Aaron Rodgers at all? Fucking Gutekunst about what the fuck they were going to do in the future. That's why they draft Jordan Love. So front offices have a tendency to fuck things up and not talk to their quarterback and let them know. I think there's a potential that both sides were fucked up in this situation. But Baker has kind of acted a little bit like a bitch in this situation. He shouldn't have put out the letter. He should have been more just have the nuts ready to swing. Is kind of what you were saying, right? Like
if he had,
let's go.
Yeah, if he stays quiet, there's not that big of an issue. He probably has already moved, in my opinion. He's probably already moved if he stayed quiet. And if he, obviously, it's going to come down to the season. He's going to have to be doing pressers and things like that. His whole thing should be, I think I'm the best quarterback on this field, and I'm about to fucking show you. Drop mic, walk off, go out on Sundays, and fucking try to light it up. If he's got that in him, and if he believes it, and I think that he has the potential to be a very good quarterback, even a top 10 quarterback, if he reaches his peak.
His ceiling is top 10. His floor is out of the league in the next 2 years.
Yeah. If he did that, and like I said, let the nuts swing, he's going to have a suitor. He's going to have someone that wants to bring him in.
Yeah, I agree.
And at this case, in this current situation, it's rough. Right now, you've got maybe Pittsburgh, maybe Seattle.
I swear to God, if he goes to Pittsburgh and beats us, I'm going to fucking lose my mind. But it's a very real possibility. It's very real. That could fucking happen.
I don't know that he goes to Carolina.
Better than fucking Haskins. He's better than fucking Denthead.
No, Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph.
I mean,
all three of the other guys there.
Your other option is Carolina, maybe, but they're not going to carry two quarterbacks on their fifth year.
Which is crazy. They have mutual disinterest, which I've never heard of that. Like they both said, "Go fuck yourselves."
The Saints just re-signed Jameis Winston because they missed out on Deshaun Watson, so he's not going to win there. So you're really losing on your options, and the reason that's Seattle and Pittsburgh I think are his two best landing spots, and those are his two best landing spots because on the 21st, Matt Ryan, he got traded over to the Indianapolis Colts, which in my opinion, fantastic move for the Colts.
Yeah, this is really good by the Colts. It's not great for their money, but you know who had the most? The Colts. And you know who ate a big portion of that fucking salary? The Falcons. That is so much dead money. I don't know how they decided, like, you know what? We're going to trade the greatest quarterback we've ever had, beloved by the city, and we're going to eat $40 million in cap.
Yeah, that's, I think them getting into, we step this back a little bit.
Yeah,
they got into the Deshaun Watson trade talks. Matt Ryan knew that now his time is probably coming to a close there in Atlanta. It's not just based on his age anymore. It's Atlanta is ready to move on from me. And you know what he did? He kept his fucking mouth shut.
Yep. He's a veteran. He's a smart guy. He's an MVP.
And what happens? He gets traded to a good team.
To a winning situation.
A team that is arguably a receiver or two away from being a Super Bowl ready team.
I agree. That defense is Super Bowl ready. That offensive line is Super Bowl ready. They
running
got
game.
Top 5 running back.
Mm-hmm.
What they need is a couple more receivers.
Yep.
And you know, this draft, you know, it's stacked with receivers. You know, there's a couple of guys out there who can still catch the fucking ball too, who will probably come on the cheap. So, because we're about what? Would you still call this the second wave, or is this starting the third wave of free agency?
We are end of second wave, beginning third wave, yeah. Because we're starting to see a lot of those 1-year deals go, but you still have high-profile free agents out there that have not signed. They're going to sign on 1-2 year big deals.
Now, there's obviously a couple of guys that in receiver talks that are, I don't know if the Colts have a chance, right? So Jarvis, maybe, right? But Jarvis easily can come back to the Browns. And another guy, Will Fuller, who's probably the third best receiver out there, obviously has a very familiar relationship with Deshaun, so also could be coming to the Browns. So that's two guys that you're going to have to contend with a team who now has more money in cap space than you do. The Browns have been very good about manipulating the cap, giving a potential serial rapist $1 million salary. But listen, I'm excited about Deshaun because I want to win fucking football games and I want to win Super Bowls. That other thing is never going to go away, the 22, until some things come out that proves he's entirely not guilty. I'm gonna take shots. I'm gonna take jabs. That's gonna happen.
Yep.
But I'm gonna want to fucking win football games.
You know what I think happens? Look, the Colts are going to definitely draft receivers, right? They need receivers.
You've got at least one.
You got to bring in.
You do it because they don't have a first. As soon as your first pick in the fucking second round had better be a receiver. Because there's some guys who are going to be available in the second round. Jahan Dotson, who I think will probably fall, could be in the second round. You got a Sky Moore, who could be in the second round. My dude from Memphis is climbing way up the boards. I thought we'd get him with a fifth. He's projected third round now. Like there are some really talented receivers. There's no Jamar, right? But there's a lot of solid number twos, fringe number ones out there. There's just not the guy when we're talking about the receivers this year.
You know what I think? And we can add this to our list of predictions or whatever. We've got plenty of good wide receivers out there still in free agency. OBJ, you've got...
that guy, I saw the reports he's coming back to Cleveland, and if they bring him back, I'm going to... Well, I would say throw shit at him, but he'd like that.
Yeah. You've got Jarvis Landry, who I think is probably the best kid out there personally. But you've got AJ Brown, or not AJ Brown, AJ Green. But you know who I think is going to go there? That's my fucking prediction. We're gonna bring the duo back together. Julio Jones.
So I've been seeing the reports. Does it still work? Does he work opposite of Michael Pittman, and does he have enough ability at this point to be much more than a red zone threat? Because
I don't care.
He was always a red zone threat, but he was never used in that fashion because I don't know why.
That's the Atlanta Falcons situation. That's their problem. Julio Jones and Matt Ryan have played a majority of their career together. Yes. You have a guy with similar skill sets, somewhat, in Michael Pittman. Julio doesn't need to be the number one on that team. No, but you're bringing in a veteran guy. They have an immediate connection. These guys know how to play together. You immediately get that rapport.
If you're trying to win now, you want a good connection.
You immediately get that rapport. You got your two boundary guys in Julio and Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman's your number one. Julio can be your number two or number three. And you bring in a slot guy, which could be that Jarvis Landry. I think that's a fantastic fit for Jarvis Landry. But otherwise, you go out, if you're able to get yourself an Olave.
Yeah. Well, I think Olave's going in the first. With him running a 4-3, I think he's going in the first round.
Look, they're in a built-to-win now situation. Trade up and get him. Trade up and get him. I think Julio will go to the Colts. He will provide them a pretty solid 1-2 option there at wide receiver, and you'll end up seeing the Colts go with early picks in the draft at wide receiver. And that offense, that's the only thing the offense has been missing is the passing game. You have Carson Wentz out there, but he's throwing to guys. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to denigrate the receivers that they've had there.
I love T.Y. Like, I have a special place in my heart for T.Y. Hilton. He has won me 2 fantasy championships because he goes absolutely ape shit at the end of the year.
But he can't stay healthy.
But he can't stay healthy at this point. He's aging. I think he's 32 now. He's an aging wide receiver. He's not that guy anymore. But I have a special place in my heart for T.Y. Do I want him on my team at this point? No. Do I want T.Y. to go get another contract? Yes. Because I love T.Y. I like T.Y. because he's done great things for me. He's a good dude. I hope he goes and steals salary cap from the Ravens because he's not that guy anymore. He's not the guy that you got to double anymore. T.Y. is just a guy at this point because he's aging. He doesn't have that burst like he used to.
Yeah. So that's, for me, go out and get Julio if you're the Colts. You got your quarterback. I think Matt Ryan still has 2 to 3 good years left in him. If you
Agreed.
look at the similarities, not saying that at all that Peyton and Matt Ryan are the same, but when Peyton left the Colts, he's the same age as when Matt Ryan comes to the Colts. And Peyton went and won a Super Bowl. He took the Broncos to the Super Bowl. They have a good play caller, a good game manager, a good arm now at quarterback, and someone who is relatively durable compared to a Carson Wentz. You have someone who has the confidence. You have someone who's been to the big game in the Super Bowl and actually played in it. Yeah, they lost, but you have a true veteran leader on your offense now in Matt Ryan. Couldn't be better for the Colts. The money is big, but the Falcons are eating so much of it that if the Colts don't go out and get good receiving help and don't make a long playoff push, I mean, they're one of my favorites to go to the championship, if not the Super Bowl this year now. I don't know what they're doing. Like, I think it's a fantastic get for the Colts. And obviously, bringing it back to Baker.
Smart decision. Baker wanted to go there, right? But Baker opened his mouth, and Matt kept his mouth shut. He's a veteran. He's a leader. He knows how to lead a team. He's an MVP. He's been to a Super Bowl. Now, if the Colts were trying to look for long-term, Baker's a better option. But they're in win now.
I don't even know that. I'm not even willing to say that. Like I said, I think you could still get 2 to 3 good years out of Matt Ryan.
And I don't agree. I think Baker potentially is a better quarterback than Matt Ryan.
Unfortunately, I think he's going to get in his head now. I think what you said, he could be out of the league in 2 years. That is more likely.
That's entirely possible, man. I love Baker. My fucking youngest daughter's middle name is Baker. She is Elizabeth Baker. I love this guy. He brought me a fucking playoff win. He brought me a winning season, first of all. He brought me a win in over 2 years. This guy was amazing. I love Baker. But my love for Baker is not going to blind me.
And that's my fear is
this up. He has fucked this whole process up incredibly badly. Like, he should have kept his mouth shut. And that's probably one of the reasons that he lost people in the locker room, is because of his personality. He is not that pro sometimes. We saw this early in his career talking about Duke Johnson's contract. There are things that Baker does that will rub people the wrong way. Listen, Baker can be an asshole, but he was my asshole. I loved the way he operated, but that's not always a great thing. Matt Ryan is going to keep his head down. He's going to go out. He's going to win fucking football games behind a team who is built to win. This is a good job by the Colts. Baker needs to get his shit together. Otherwise, there's a very real potential he's out of the league in 2 years.
Yeah, that's. I think that he's gotten so far into his head on this that the moxie is hurting him, and I think that I'd be putting it at but I'm putting it almost 80% that he's out of the league in 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, me too.
Unfortunately,
that sucks. Because I think the kid has potential. I think the kid can actually sling it pretty well when he's healthy and when things are going well. And this is one of those things. When things are going well on the football field, Baker operates great. He does struggle a little bit when things are not going well, and those translate to off the field. When things were going well on the field and people are asking him simple, easy questions, things were going great off the field. Now they did not go well on the field, so things went bad off the field as well, with the exception of the hilarious commercials he's in, because I don't care what anybody says, them shits are funny. He's actually pretty good at that. But when he's good when things are good, he's not good when things go sideways.
I'm fearful that his path is going to be that of a Mark Sanchez, where he kind of goes down in infamy, and because he has the edgier side, that he could see himself in the broadcasting booth at some point in time. Maybe for not as reputable as, say, an ESPN or something like that, but he could be one of those guys that is on a sports analyst talk show, maybe on Fox Sports or something like that, that is a little bit more edgy. And
I don't know what
that
the
is
show's
route.
going to welcome it on because everybody in sports media hates this guy. He ain't going on fucking. He's not working with Colin Cowherd. He's not working with fucking. Receiver on NFL Network.
Penis.
Steve Smith. He's not working with Steve Smith.
Yeah.
That's not fucking happening. Where he called Baker a bitch, basically, saying he's legally and crying. Like, it's gonna be tough. Like, he has got to find a way to calm down. He's probably gonna spend a year as a backup, unless Seattle brings him in for a competition, which he will absolutely win. He'll beat Geno. He'll beat fucking what the hell's his name from Denver?
Lock.
He'll beat Drew Lock. Like, there's a lot of guys that Baker can beat in a competition. He was better than Tyrod in a competition his rookie year. He can beat out a lot of guys. He is still very talented.
I think his best bet.
He's still best 32 talented. He's not supremely talented. He's best 32 talented.
I think his best bet is to, again, keep his mouth shut. He'll probably end up sticking with the Browns here. The first 6+ games, he needs to.
He's not going to play.
Smacking.
We signed Jacoby. So what my
he's better than Jacoby.
Oh, I agree. I think he is better than Jacoby. But what I think is going to happen is that nobody's going to want to take on the salary. He will sit out on purpose, and we will fine him.
He might.
He's not going to be away from the facility. Jacoby will play. He'll be gone. He will be quarterback 3, emergency quarterback. He will not play for us. He will sit out just like Deshaun did last year, not suspended. He gets fined, and then he's going to go somewhere else. I don't think that's in his best interest at all. I don't think it's in the Browns' best interest to do that. But I think that's a very real possibility at this point. I think that because the Browns are not going to eat $18 million of salary. They're not going to. And there's a lot of teams who are not going to eat that 5th year $18 million of salary unless we are selling Baker. Like, we have to give picks to get rid of him at this point because of the shit that's gone down.
In the most optimistic point of view for Baker and what I think would be best for him if he's able to do it, obviously, this is a lot of postulation here, but his best interest would be to stay with the Browns, not to sit out those games. I think he's better than Jacoby Brissett.
I agree. This is his best interest. I don't think it's going to happen, though, but go ahead, please.
If he goes, plays for the Browns, and he is able to, for those 6+ games, make everyone think that he's the starter, because his only competition will be Jacoby at that point, because we're assuming that Deshaun is out. If there's not calls for Jacoby to come in, because he's playing so well, and you guys in 6 games come out 4-2, 5-1,
3 would be good enough.
and he is balling out. By the trade deadline, he's going to have a market. And he will have essentially revitalized his career from what is an insane slump right now. He will be able to find himself a new contract and a new team. If he wants to continue playing in this league, it revolves around him keeping his fucking mouth shut and him actually playing up to his maximum potential for these first several weeks in the league. And then we might be talking about Baker next year on another team as being the starting quarterback, and he's on the upswing again. That's me trying to stay positive with it. But like you said, he might be a little bitch, and he might fucking sit.
He's been acting like a little bitch a little bit. But this is what you're saying is not out of the realm of possibility. It's something we've kind of seen before. Look at Mitch Trubisky. Gets kicked out of his job in fucking Chicago. Decides to take a backup job. He's going to go be a good boy. And he sits in Buffalo. And now he's a starting quarterback for at least this year, I think, in Pittsburgh. Because I don't think Dwayne is going to beat him out. Dwayne doesn't care. He doesn't study. I think Dwayne is more talented physically than Mitch is. But when Mitch is going to win that competition, this will be the year that Mason Rudolph finally gets fucking cut, and Pittsburgh fans can rid themselves of that cancer. But like Baker is better than he's better than a couple of the 32 that we're going to have. But that doesn't mean he's going to have the opportunity at those places. It's just I think he's going to have to sit and go the Mitch Trubisky route.
You're not going to probably like this, but old Mitchell Trubisky. So for one, Mitch Trubisky, there's a big difference between him and Baker. I think Baker has the potential. I think Baker has the potential to be better. But Mitch Trubisky, you know what happened when everything was going down in Chicago? He just kind of stayed fucking quiet.
Yeah, it did.
That offered him. Yeah, he went to be a backup, but it offered him that second opportunity now, where he's going to go be the starter in Pittsburgh. And a prediction that I'm not completely seated on, but I'm feeling a little bit better about, is that old Mitchell Trubisky, the guy that, by the way, has only pupils. Look at the pictures. He is all pupil. No cornea, or no iris.
Toss it up on the screen, bro.
He's going to be a number 15 quarterback in the league.
What?
Yeah.
Who the fuck put that up?
I am. I think that
he's going to be a top 15 quarterback.
I think that he'll be about the 15th best quarterback in the league. I think that him throwing left, him not being able to throw left, is more of a product of Matt Nagy and the poor coaching there in Chicago, and that him sitting behind a competent quarterback and a competent coaching staff in Buffalo has probably done him wonders. And he is a big body guy. He's mobile. He is a Josh Allen light. And if he's able to fix throwing left and his decision making, I think that he has the potential to be a top 15 quarterback. I think 15 is his high end.
Big change from what I was expecting.
I know. I feel real dirty about it because I don't like Mitchell Trubisky. I don't like Mitchell Trubisky, but you know what? I didn't like Josh Allen coming out, and I fucking love him now. I think that he's one of the top three.
I really like Josh Allen. I really, really like Josh Allen, and I know we're not onto linebackers yet in the secondary, but man, them boys from Wyoming. When you find a prospect from Wyoming who shows out, the kid can play. We'll get to that next week because we're talking about D tackles and DNs today. But man, listen, kid can play. Josh Allen could play. That's the guy I wanted. I liked Baker. I didn't want Rosen. I didn't want Darnold. I was not sold that Deshaun was going to be that guy. I thought he'd have a really, really tough transition. He still is not fully transitioned into the pro game yet. Baker was my guy. Well, actually, not Darnold. Josh Allen was my guy because he's a Wyoming guy where I graduated high school from. I've actually watched Wyoming football, so I've seen the kid play. So that was my guy. And then number 2 was Baker. So I was good when we got Baker. And now it's not that class is boiling down to 2 fucking guys who look like they're gonna make it.
Yeah. But either way, my big prediction that I feel good about Julio to the Colts, Trubisky being maybe the number 15 quarterback in the league, outperforming what I expected. I didn't expect him to be much with the Bears, but I think that he might have revitalized his career. And then it's, like I said, I think Baker, I think his best bet is to stick now with the Browns because, like we talked about, his only other options are Seattle, maybe Pittsburgh. And I don't know that Pittsburgh wants to bring that in because I think they feel good about Trubisky. And I don't know that he's got a whole lot of options. You know what else I want? I want to see Kaepernick go to Seattle. Not because I think that he's necessarily going to be good. I think that he has the potential to perform well there, but I just want to put this fucking to rest. Yeah, I want it to. I want us to know for once and for all, can he play in the league or not? Can we get over this shit? All the political bullshit aside, I just want us to be able to say, because that's been the biggest antagonist to him, is people saying, and people for political reasons saying, oh, well, he was a dog shit quarterback in San Fran at the end, which statistically, yeah, he was not doing well. Quarterbacks have slumps. Maybe that's what it was. He was an average quarterback there.
Yeah, he was still top 32. So when they benched him, I thought he was still better than fucking Blaine Gabbert. I would never understand the Blaine Gabbert fucking draft and how the kid got drafted as high as he did. Would not stay in the fucking pocket to save his life, no matter how clean it was.
So let's just put this to rest. Seattle, go out there, sign Kaepernick, put him out on the field. We'll see if he's good or not. If he is, kudos to you for giving him a shot, and we can fucking move on.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was an advocate for Cap. What? When we started the show, right? Over a year ago. I thought he was, when we talked about this the last time, I thought he was he was one of the top 32. There was no question that he was one of the top 32 in my mind when he was being forced out of the league, but he came with a lot of baggage. And this is something that's happening with fucking Baker right now, with a lot of the baggage and the personality and all the shit that goes along with it. I don't know if Kaepernick's top 32 now. I mean, I could watch a fucking highlight tape. I
want to see.
The fucking throws that he's throwing when there's nobody guarding me and I have a fucking perfectly clean pocket. That doesn't mean you're top 32 anymore.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is I want to see. Like, I like rooting for the underdog. I am easily able to set my political and off-the-field stuff aside. I don't really give a shit. Do what you're going to do. I just want to see, can he play football anymore so that we can quit talking about is he good or is he not? Can he play, can he not?
Sign him. If he can play, sign him. He never should have got booted out of the league in the first place because he was a top 32.
Crazy how we get on the Kaepernick talk.
And he damn sure was a top 64 if we're talking about teams, quarterbacks in the league, but all the shit that came along with him.
Yeah. And the money. The money he was asking for.
Correct.
Too much.
That was a big deal. He was asking for at least $20 million a year, I think.
Yeah, he's a $5 to $8 million per year quarterback, 1 year deal. See what you got.
Exactly. That's what he should have asked for. That's what he should have done, and he stays in the league because he was definitely top 64, 100% top 64 in my mind. He was top 32.
With how much he's talked about how he's still good and everything like that, show it, prove it. Give me a prove it deal with a lot of incentives. Look, Cam Newton signed an incentive-laden deal for a low amount of money with New England. Yeah. You can do the same thing, and if you're good, guess what? You've revitalized your career.
Could you know what? It's crazy about Seattle. Could he beat Drew Lock?
Yeah,
I think he could.
Yeah. Could
he beat Geno Smith? Yeah, I think he could. Like, he could start there.
Yeah, I honestly, if they sign him, I odds on he's a starter.
I think he could. I think he could start.
Yeah, but either way, we can kind of move on from this a little bit. Now, one thing to say about the Matt Ryan trade is that left the Falcons without a quarterback, so they went out and they got a quarterback. They got Marcus Mariota, solid signing for them. Obviously, not a long term.
I really like this for them.
Yeah,
I do, because I think Mariota is one of those guys. He's fringe, right? We always talk about fringe. We gotta get him in the right system. You know who else is a weird fringe player who happened to re-sign in fucking Atlanta?
Flash.
No. Yeah,
Flash.
Yeah.
Cordell Patterson.
Cordell is going to be a perfect mesh with Mariota. This is a really interesting offense now with Mariota, Cordell Patterson, Kyle Pitts. Now, they need to go get a receiver, but they can get one of those in this draft. Mm-hmm. They just got some more picks for Matt Ryan.
I mean, we talked about
a very fun, exciting offense.
We talked about free agent wide receivers that are still out there. I'm just rolling through the list of available free agents that are still out there. You do have the Will Fullers. You've got
Fuller's going to Cleveland. I'm almost certain about that.
Okay. You've got T.Y. Hilton. We already talked about him and his upside downside. There's A.J. Green. I think that would be a little bit weird.
That would not be a good mesh.
Yeah. But there's names out there that you could still go after. Is what I'm getting at.
A name that's out there, a guy that I like as a number 2, which he would be kind of pushed into that number 1 role. Keenan Cole. They need a little bigger body guy, a little quicker. I mean, because he runs 4.4s.
Yeah, he's fast.
Yeah, he's pretty fucking quick. I think that Keenan Cole would be a good fit there because they're not spending a lot of money. You can get him on a prove-it deal. You get a Cordell, you get a fucking Mariota, you got Pitts, you get a Keenan Cole. You have a lot of different things that you can do with this offense. I think it could be pretty interesting, pretty dynamic. I don't know if it's going to be gangbusters depending on who's calling the plays, but I mean, that's a interesting offense that I would tune in to watch to see how they put that together.
Yeah, I like what they're doing there as far as the player acquisition of Mariota. It's going to be weird with the contract stuff, especially carrying a bunch of stuff from Matt Ryan going forward. But they're doing a huge shift. Yeah, a huge shift in Atlanta as to how their team is going to be structured. Other news in the league, focusing a little more about wide receiver, is that you've got the Packers, who got rid of Devontae Adams, and we talked about this last week, but they haven't really brought anyone in, right?
No,
and then they end up losing their number 2 guy. Marquez Valdez-Scantling is gone. He goes to sign with the Chiefs, but why does he sign with the Chiefs?
Let's do it.
Tyreke Hill.
One of the most dynamic players in the world of in the history of football is now gone off that team.
Yep, Tyreke Hill gets traded to the Miami Dolphins. Miami. Which surprised the shit out of me. I didn't think Tyreke Hill was on the table, but it makes sense. You're paying Patrick Mahomes, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and you're paying him a supreme amount of money. Tyreek Hill is going to be coming up for a new contract here very shortly, and he got one. And you're probably not going to be able to afford to keep the both of them. And Kelsey, right? So they ended up having to bite the bullet and move on from Tyreek Hill, and they got a good return and compensation for him. Now, I'll say this about Tyreek Hill. Yeah,
I'm trying to find the meme you sent me so I can put it up on the screen share.
Yeah. I'll say this about Tyreek Hill. I don't think he's the best receiver in the league. I'm not even willing to commit that he's top 5. In certain aspects, he certainly is. The guy's a fucking burner. Incredible on special teams. Really good in short slant stuff. But he's not a traditional number 1 like you would think of a Calvin Johnson or something like that. He's the smaller guy. He's super fast. It's a very interesting fit in Miami when they already have that in Tyreek Hill, like Jalen Waddle. But the Chiefs, what worked for them was that Tyreek Hill took the top off of a defense. He made you commit people to him every time, deep down the field, because this guy could burn you on every play. I remember having him on my fantasy team when he put up like 300 yards and a half. Like, the guy can be electric, lights out. When he's out of a game, when a team takes him out of the game, everyone else profits. That's when your Travis Kelce takes over the game in the middle of the field, right? And then they have a couple other Jags, whether it's Sammy Watkins in previous years or things like that, Pringle in other years. They take over Mecole Hardman, who's still on the team. They're able to kind of work that middle of the field, and they get more targets and stuff like that, but they're not necessarily top-end receivers. You don't have that anymore. You've got Kelsey. He's going to be Kelsey. He's going to be great. Now you need to find other receiving options. It'll make their offense a little bit more diverse, but...
I mean, I like Pringle. I think they need some more help, which they kind of got. I mean...
Well, I don't think Pringle re-signed with them. I think he just signed with someone else.
Oh, did he? Did I miss that signing?
I'm pretty sure. Let me just check. Byron Pringle. Chicago Bears.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay,
so they don't really... Mecole Hardman. You got Mecole Hardman, and you got Travis Kelce. And those are the names on your team. You've got other guys, but still nothing too spectacular. So they go out and they sign an MVS, who's a solid number 2 possession receiver type of guy. But you don't have any world burner type of player on your team. They'll probably go out this year and use the picks that they got in return in order to pull in a higher profile receiver, something to diversify the offense a little bit more. They're going to be a little bit less electric because Tyreke Hill brings that electricity. He can blow a play up at any point in time.
But Jalen Waddle can do the same thing. Jalen Waddle has the wiggle. They have the same guy, and they need. No, don't get me wrong. They did re-sign Gesicki, but they need something else. They need something there. And then the Chiefs, they signed what the fuck's his name? Corey Coleman. They brought in Corey.
He's still in the league?
No, he has not been in the league for a while, but they brought his ass in.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a weird. Like they need something, because Travis Kelce has also a massive contract, and like it's not going to work. All these big numbers, and listen, if it's not going to work in Kansas City, Travis, I know a team that loves tight ends. I know you played at the University of Cincinnati. You loved the Browns. You played in the celebrity softball game. If you need to get out of town, call Andrew Berry. Get on the phone. We'll keep Njoku for this year on the franchise tag. Carlson's gone. Fuck everybody else is gone. You right here, baby. Travis, me and you, just come back home. It's not gonna happen, but like he needs some fucking help. Like that offense is not gonna be dynamic as it was before.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for the Chiefs. If you remember the first half, at least the middle of the year last year, we talked a lot about the Chiefs and how they had really fallen off. Obviously, they came back on towards the end of the year.
Right.
But they did fall off some. You're opening the door for more of that to happen.
Yeah,
Tyreke Hill being gone.
I don't think they're winning their division with all the moves that have been made.
Yeah, that's everyone else. Everyone else is adding talent, and they just lost one of their best talents.
Yeah, well, when you sign your quarterback to a fucking $500 million deal, like things are gonna sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
And you just sacrificed one of, if not the most dynamic player in the league. Now, could they find a guy in this draft who does similar things? I mean, maybe. I mean, I love Calvin Austin out of Memphis, right? His comps have been to Tyreke Hill. No, thank you. I was about to share it. You got it for me.
Yeah, I had to go back in our messages and email it to myself and throw her up on the screen.
I have it pulled up. Hold on, wait. Watch this. So let's go ahead. Share my screen. Sure, I don't care. Let's pick that one. And the picture I had pulled up. There we go.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's going to happen in fucking Miami. Like, he can't throw the ball deep.
This is the thing. All right. So I'll again come from a point of positivity.
Oh, Jesus Christ, positive.
Tua played with extremely talented receivers there in Alabama. He can play with extremely talented wide receivers such as Tyreke Hill, Jalen Waddle.
But okay, go ahead, finish, and I will.
Jalen Waddle still had a good year last year, even with Tua and some quarterback movement there. Let's say Tua doesn't play, you still have Teddy Bridgewater. Doesn't have a huge arm, but it is what it is. I think that the perfect head coaching situation to get the most out of your offensive talented players is a Mike McDaniel. They bring in Mike McDaniel, and what did he do with Debo there? He revolutionized the position to an extent by moving him into the backfield and stuff. You're going to see a different offense than we're used to seeing in the NFL in Miami, I think. They're going to utilize Waddle and Tyreke Hill in a lot of motion, moving them into the backfield. You're going to see Devontae Parker is still there. He's a solid possession guy. Gesicki, solid possession guy. You might not see the deep shots. The deep shots are going to be rough. That's the meme stands true. The deep shots are going to be rough. Can they utilize these two down here in Miami? I think if there's someone that can figure it out, it'll be Mike McDaniel. It's a boost to their offense. I don't know that I have confidence in Miami yet. I said last year, one of my kind of early predictions was that Miami was going to be a good team, not a great team, but a good team, and that they could push for a wild card spot. And then they had that 7-game stretch or whatever where they won 7 in a row. Pretty damn good.
They lost 7 in a row before that.
Yeah. So I think that they have a better head coach situation there now. I don't want to directly compare Mike McDaniel to what's his name? I can't think of it right now. I like their previous head coach a lot, but obviously there was a fracture there in the clubhouse between ownership, between the players. I think that Mike McDaniel will work better with those players because he's a player's coach, and also he's kind of
the relationship between Mike McDaniels and Brian Flores is going to be drastically better.
Yeah.
I don't like the
being offensive minded. I think he'll make it work. I don't like the fit either. I do not like the fit. I like it better than the Jets. Go for Tyreke Hill there because that was the other suitor.
If Tyreke was signing with the Jets, he'd have been paid $200 million.
Mm-hmm. Because that's the thing. Tyreke gets traded, and he got a stupid contract. He got a lot of money.
He's getting paid more than Devontae right now. He's the highest paid receiver in the league.
Look, I'm being selfish about this, and I'm so scared of what we're going to have to do with Justin Jefferson in Minnesota. That boy is going to get so much money because he's better, in my opinion, all-around receiver. All-around receiver, he's better than Tyreke, and he's on Devontae's level. Like, Devontae and Jefferson are on each other's level. So when Devontae got signed, that was my initial thought. I was like, fuck. We're going to have to pay Jefferson a lot. And then Tyreke goes out and gets this. And I'm like, oh, my fucking God. Slay my cunt hole.
$30 million a year.
Like, I'm already starting to drip blood from my anus because we're going to get raped on that contract.
I was going to say, go ahead. Finish your slay my. Go ahead.
Yeah, slay my cunt hole. We're going to get raped on that contract. He's worth it. But wide receiver contracts have gotten out of hand, man.
So the money is going up on the salary cap, obviously. Okay, so these receivers are getting paid crazy money. Do I think Tyreke deserves more than Devontae? No. Does Tyreke deserve a lot of money? Yes. I hate this fit in Miami, though. I fucking hate this fit. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, so you were saying, so Tua did really good with outstanding receivers in college, right? And he absolutely did. 100%. He performed amazing. But you know what those wide receivers did? Those wide receivers out-athleted everybody they fucking played. They were the best athletes on the field. You know what they're not anymore? The best athletes on... Now, Tyreke, maybe.
Jalen Waddle's got the speed. They can out-athlete a little bit, man.
They can run. I don't know if they can. I mean, if you put Jalen Waddle in press coverage, like it's a good fucking corner. Now, one of those guys is going to get single coverage.
Yeah,
that's absolutely going to happen.
Yeah.
One of them is going to get single coverage. Do I expect them to out? This is not college. The athletes in the NFL are not the athletes in college. These guys are not going to just out-athlete everybody. Tyreke, maybe, probably, but we've seen him shut down before. Jalen's not that guy yet, but could be.
Is there a single Is there a single NFL defense out there that has two cornerbacks that can keep up with Waddle and Tyreke Hill? Both at the same time.
Same time. So the Rams can't. They're good on one side. Browns can't. I mean, Denzel did a really good job against Tyreke.
Yeah, but that was a Tyreke on a Colts team where you didn't have anyone else stretching the field.
Yeah, I know. I just, man, I don't know.
Like, if Tua is able to fucking get anything.
We're talking about stretching the field, and Tua can't fucking stretch the field.
Yeah, I don't know that he can. I'm just saying it's going to be interesting in Miami, man. It's going to be interesting. I don't like the fit. I don't know that it's going to work, but it's going to be real interesting.
They better sign a fucking running back who is just a hard person to fucking tackle. Who is it? Walker from Michigan State? They better get a guy who can run through people.
Oh, they're not worried about that. They got Chase Edmonds.
They have to have somebody. Shut the fuck up. Come on.
Look, I don't know that it's going to work in Miami. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting fit.
Yeah. Okay, well, I mean, good for Tyreke getting paid, though. I mean, hey, get that money, baby.
Yeah. And look, we've talked about this kind of before. The NFL salary cap is going up. But if you look at the teams that go to the Super Bowl and win, their quarterback makes less than 15% of their salary cap. Just how the NFL happens to work. You look at, we'll go just recency bias to the Rams. Who's the big money receivers on their team? Robert Woods? You know?
Yeah, Cooper Kupp wasn't making that. I don't think he was making a massive contract.
No,
was he?
OBJ went there on a budget deal. You're going to see these teams that are able to have the supreme offensive talent on their side of the field, guys that they're able to get on budget and guys that are on their rookie contracts.
Look at the Bucks. The Bucks did this. That's how they got all of those people down there. People are going to have to take deals if we're going for Super Bowls.
Yeah. So,
and that not everybody's going to do that because listen, the NFL is a business. Not for long. NFL, not for long. You got to make your money when you can. So unless you are going for a Super Bowl, you're playing for a big fucking contract. Like that's just the way things work. Yeah. And I understand that, and I'm good with that. Get your fucking bag of money. I want as much money as I can possibly gain. So I'm not gonna, slight anybody for wanting to get their money if they don't think they can win. Which is a reason I have a problem with Aaron Rodgers' goddamn contract because he could win.
That's why the Packers will not
money.
That's why they will not make the Super Bowl. That's why they will not win the NFC Championship. It's why they have not gone back to the Super Bowl in Aaron Rodgers' tenure. He commands too much money. His money goes up every year, and the salary cap ends up going up, and they can't put a team around him. As you see the Rams, they get Matt Stafford on relatively a cheap deal for the caliber of quarterback that he is, and then they have a whole lot of guys who are coming in there. They're veteran players on reasonable deals. They can't afford them year in and year out, but they're able to put together a championship caliber team on a budget, kind of. And it's nothing but big names all over the field for him. But you see a team with a Aaron Rodgers who sticks with the team and keeps on taking more and more money, and they can't put talent around him. And that's that's my fear of what's going to be happening here with Miami is right now they have the money, but longevity is not there. And they don't have a quarterback in place that endues confidence in you.
That's also a big fear of mine in Cleveland paying $48 million a year to fucking Deshaun Watson.
The difference to me with Cleveland is he is one of those guys like a Mahomes who will bring people there, and he can elevate the team around him. Some quarterbacks can, some quarterbacks can't. Kirk Cousins, my quarterback, he can't elevate the team around him. Can he do well? Yes. Can he put up stats? Yes. Can he elevate the guys around him? Absolutely not. So we have to fill the team around him with talent, and we're going to lose that talent. over time if we keep going with Kirk Cousins. You look at Aaron Rodgers, they surround him with some talent, not very much because the GM sucks.
But he
and the GMs have sucked. But he elevates the guys around him. MVS is a number 2 on the Packers for sure. I'm not sold on him being a number 2 on many other teams.
Fucking Chiefs?
Other than the Chiefs, like the Chiefs have the quarterback to elevate him to a number 2 talent.
Yeah.
But you've seen that for years with the Packers, even back to Brett Favre. Donald Driver.
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah,
Good. Not great anywhere. Greg Jennings. Good, not great.
Okay.
He went to the Vikings. He went to the Vikings elsewhere and didn't really do much. Jordy Nelson, when he left, he went to the Raiders and was nothing.
Jordy was old, though. I don't want to knock Jordy. Jordy was very old when he left.
He was, but I'm like you see these receivers at the Packers and they will put up number 2, number 3 type stats, and then they go elsewhere and they're okay. They're number 2, number 3 maybe. And Devontae is the exception to that. He's phenomenal, but you can't afford to keep a phenomenal player. Those guys keep on going back to the Packers because they know I'm not the stats that I'm putting up. I am what Aaron Rodgers is making me produce.
Right.
It's tough to put together a championship team unless you can draw other people to go there. And for a market like Green Bay, it's not bringing people in there. For you guys in Cleveland, you have a very, very, very solid team around Deshaun Watson. And you can maintain that team for a little bit. And you could possibly bring in some other names that want to play with him. Like you were talking about Jarvis possibly coming back. I don't think Jarvis is going to come back on a deal that's friendly to the team if Deshaun Watson's not there.
Agreed. I agree.
It automatically
will sign Will Fuller to a fairly team-friendly 2-year fucking $20 million deal because he's been hurt a lot. And
so I think that, like I said, you guys are in a 3 to 5 year window, Super Bowl or bust. And after that, it's going to be it's going to be a rebuild.
Yeah, it's going to have to. Well, depending on how much this fucking TV money goes up, it's going to have to be a rebuild. Or we're drafting a guy in year 5, or we're signing Deshaun because he's just been so goddamn amazing.
Because long term, you look, the quarterback pulls in all that money, and then the rest of the team suffers around it, and then you're forced to rebuild. You're forced to move on from your quarterback. You don't have much of a team around him, so it ends up becoming that complete rebuild. And that's what's going to happen to the Packers. So what's going to happen to the Packers? We're seeing it. You're going to be seeing it a year or two ahead of time.
It happens to everyone at some point. But
so either way, free agency and the NFL offseason has been ongoing over the past week. Those are the big moves. There's other moves that have happened, but those are the big moves. We've got Bobby Wagner talking to the Rams and the Ravens and things like that.
Man, I can't. So I did not know this. Bobby Wagner is not old. How old do you think Bobby Wagner is?
29.
Oh wow! So you're going under. I mean, Bobby is in his 30s, but he is.
I assumed that he was in his 30s, but when you said that, he wasn't as old as I thought he was. He's 31 years old, born in 1990.
Yeah. So Bobby
has
had 10 years of basically Pro Bowls. And people are like, oh, Bobby's washed up. Bobby can't do it no more. Bobby's 31. Give me fucking Bobby Wagner into my vein, bro. Like, I don't understand how he's not signed yet. I think he's waiting to see kind of the way the market shakes up. But Jesus Christ, he's still a top 5 linebacker in the league. Now, I've heard people say, oh, Bobby's old. Bobby's washed up. Bobby's not old. Bobby's not washed up. He is still one of the best linebackers in the fucking league.
Washed up, no. Old, he's getting there for a linebacker.
31 is... Okay, so this is his last contract.
Yeah.
At the end of this contract, Bobby is old.
Yeah.
But right now at 31, Bobby's not old.
Yeah. He's got one contract left in him.
This is it. This is his last contract. He's done after this. So I don't know if he's been waiting to see if he gets the right deal or...
I think he's at that point where he knows he's not going to make top-end linebacker money. He's going to make
So
good money.
For the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, he's going to make good money, and now he's just looking for the right fit to go to another team that's going to go, cocksucker!
Fuck!
Excuse me. He's going to compete. He's going to a team that he can compete for a Super Bowl with. He's just looking for the right situation. He's not worried about the money.
Yeah, so Bobby's out. We got quite a few. Like Tyron Matthew has not signed yet.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of big names out there.
Hey,
man.
listen, the Browns play a 3 safety system. Okay, if you would like to be on the field 90% of the time, if you want to cover guys in the slot, play a deep center field, we'll take you. We have a lot of money as well. So Tyron, please come to the Browns.
I've got the PFF top guys. I'll just go through the top 10, and I'll actually go top 11 because one of the guys in the top 10 I vehemently disagree with.
I think I know who we're talking about, but I'm excited for that.
Who's your guess?
I'm not going to do it because
Okay.
I know the name.
So Bobby Wagner, Jadeveon Clowney, Stephon Gilmore, Tyrann Mathieu, Odell Beckham, J.C.
Yep.
Treader, Akeem Hicks. No, OBJ is not who I vehemently. I think
really?
OBJ is top 10.
Oh
No.
my God, I don't know.
PFF. J.C. Treader, Akeem Hicks, Melvin Ingram, number 9, who I disagree with, Antonio Brown. I don't know that he plays again.
Wait, hold on. I'm looking at a different fucking list. You got PFFs, right?
Yes. Calais Campbell, and I'll add number 11, Dwayne Brown.
Okay,
That's who they have as their top left, and this was as of the 21st.
Okay, so yeah. So I got 2 disagreements. I'm looking at something different. You said PFFs?
Yes. And then 12 is Gronk, 13 Julio, Justin Houston at 14, Jerry Hughes.
Gronk is playing with one team and one team only. It's whatever team Tom is playing for.
Yeah. So there's still plenty left to happen this offseason, all right?
There's a lot going on.
We have a lot of all these names, even Antonio Brown, there's big names left. And I'm only reading off like the top 12 to 15 here. Well, if you go down the list, the top 50, they're all big name guys that you're going to recognize. And
I'm going to pull up PFF's shit.
And so we're going to see more movement happening. We'll keep you informed on that. Interesting note, 2 things here. One, superstar agent Drew Rosenhaus has said, if you think you've seen all the blockbuster moves this offseason so far, there's still more to come. That could just be him ginning up.
I'm done with Drew, dude. I've been done with Drew for like fucking a decade almost.
Tired. He could just be ginning up a whole lot of extra talk. And that's Drew Rosenhaus, whatever. But there's still big names out there to move. The one rumor that I don't give really any credibility to out there that we talked about prior to the show starting, and then I was actually hit up about from Miss Hubbard yesterday, Tom Brady. There's a Tom Brady rumor of him going to the Dolphins.
Okay, so before we move on to the Dolphins thing, tell me what you're looking at so I can see the same thing. And then we can talk about how Tom's never fucking going to the Dolphins.
You're talking about my PFF list, or?
Well, yeah. What did you look for? Because I'm looking for the.
I am just going to send you the link on Facebook Messenger here in a second. All right. But while I'm doing that, because it's taking a second to load up here, sorry, porn has bogged down my computer a lot, unfortunately. There's been rumors that Tom Brady is going to be traded to the Miami Dolphins. I think that it's not going to happen. Look, if Tom Brady came out of retirement, he came out of retirement to play with a particular team. If that team was the Dolphins,
people, whatever.
If that team was the Dolphins, he would have come out of retirement and immediately been traded. That would have already been worked out. All right. Mike had just sent you the link there.
All right, got it.
It would have already been worked out, and he would already be in the Dolphins. And Tom Brady is not the strong arm quarterback that's going to make Tyreek Hill work. Could it mean that everyone's going to start bandwagoning Miami and that they're going to push for a Super Bowl? Absolutely. But you have your top NFL guys out there on Twitter or wherever, your Ian Rappaports, the big name guys, your Schefter. They are the ones with the inside scoop. They're reporting all these free agency happenings. They're aware of the trades before anyone else. And they're the ones reporting it. And it takes away from the smaller scale guys who need to have something to boost themselves up. And that's where you're going to start to see a little bit more of this bullshit. Tom Brady to the Dolphins trade rumors. They have to gin up something to get people to click on their name, on their Twitter, to like their stuff. Tom Brady ain't going to the Dolphins.
Speaking of randomly clicking on things and liking, following, you can follow the Lineman Lounge on Twitter at Lineman Lounge. We got a Facebook page. We got a TikTok. I'm going to try to do more of the drink things. We have so many social medias. We have a email. Evo, give me the email.
linemanlounge@gmail.com.
So, if we just want to follow random things, people who can't generate a bunch of traffic, let's do that. Or you can follow us and do all of those same things. I don't understand the whole let's make up stories thing. I don't want to make up stories. Trust me, when I go to Cleveland, maybe I'll become a source. Maybe I'll know a guy who knows a guy, and I'll get into the Browns organization. But this whole Tom Brady thing is bullshit. It's always been bullshit. I don't understand why we're doing this. He's not going to fucking Miami.
No. Again, it's a fit thing. I don't see the fit. And with him coming out of retirement, if he was coming out of retirement to go to a particular team, it already would have happened. So his particular team is the Buccaneers.
Yeah, where he's been asking guys to come back. He's going to recruit guys to go there. Guys have been coming out of retirement or re-signing with the Bucs because Tom is coming back. He's not just going to leave. This is the most asinine thing that I've seen in quite some time. Leonard Fournette had a fantastic opportunity to go up to New England and sign a contract, be their number one back, and possibly win a lot of fucking games. But he didn't sign there. He decides to take a little bit less money and go back to the Bucs. So Tom's coming back to the Bucs. Tom's not the guy. Tom's not Antonio Brown, where he's going to say all of these things and then do something else. Tom's going back to the Bucs. This is stupid.
Yeah. So we're going to see those rumors come up. If they're worthwhile, we'll talk about them a little bit. But you're going to see a lot of reckless speculation. I've been drinking, but reckless speculation. A lot of it doesn't really mean a whole lot. But I think we can move on from the free agency offseason stuff. One thing that we wanted to hit on before we move on to the NFL draft and our prospects, sleepers for the defensive line and edge guys, is the NFL is having its competition committee gatherings right now in Palm Beach, Florida. One of the main things that was brought up was overtime. Overtime is something that we have talked about in the show, and do we need to have overtime rule changes? Well, according to ESPN, there is, quote, a lot of momentum for changing the NFL overtime rules, according to the competition committee chairman, Rich McKay. All right, two teams have proposals in. The Colts and the Philadelphia Eagles have both proposed making it mandatory that each team in an overtime has a possession before moving to a sudden death format. Tennessee Titans tweaked that proposal of just each team getting the ball to saying that they would implement a mandatory possession for each team unless the team that gets the ball first scores a touchdown and converts a successful 2-point attempt. Those are the two main things that are out there.
So I don't like the 2-point attempt because if the team goes down, scores a touchdown, and they miss their 2-point attempt, following team goes down, scores a touchdown, kicks an extra fucking point, game over, they lose.
Well, they would. The second team wouldn't kick an extra point. They'd have to go for 2 points at that point.
Okay. So they have to go for 2?
The way that they're proposing it is that each team gets a possession unless the team that wins the coin flip goes down and scores a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. Then the other team doesn't get the ball back.
Okay, so that's a very piss poor way to word that. Because if the team goes down, scores a touchdown, and misses the 2-point conversion,
then the other team gets the ball, and they could just kick a field goal. Or they can score a touchdown and kick an extra point.
Yeah, so they have to word that better. Maybe, I don't know, I'm not in the meetings. There would need to be some logistics there to make that not, because if that's the case, I'm playing fucking defense in overtime. You have to get a 2-point conversion on top of, and then I know what I have to do as an offense.
I think it caters towards the team to get the ball. Well, they wouldn't get the ball second at that point. I don't really have too much of a point. I think it's better than our current format where if you just score a touchdown, game's over. I like it better. Because the odds of getting a 2-point conversion are more difficult.
I want 10 minutes of real football. We've talked about this on the show before. I want 10 minutes. Give me if you want to cut it down, give me 8 minutes of real football. Where at the end of the overtime, the winner is the winner, or it's a fucking tie, and the game ends in a tie. I want real football. I don't want these asinine, made-up fucking rules. I want football the same way I want my goddamn baseball. We tied at the end of 9 innings. Let's toss an asshole out on second base. No! Let's play real fucking baseball. Let's play the goddamn game we're here to play, and let's just fucking figure out who wins. Baseball, there's ties. And NFL, there are ties. So let's play the fucking game.
We've talked about this before. For me, I think the 10 minute, so regular season, an extra 10-minute overtime. Whoever wins at the end of that wins. If it's a tie, it's a tie. In the playoffs, I'm fine with this format, which is each team gets a possession. If you score a touchdown, you have to kick, or you have to go for a 2-point conversion. And then, if both teams are tied at the end of that, kickoff.
No,
it is field goal kickers.
Play baseball. Play football. If you can't fucking beat them in regulation, keep fucking playing until you beat them. Like, god damn it, let's just... And if you can't beat them in regulation...
I like the shootout, man.
You don't deserve the opportunity to have the rest. Beat them in fucking regulation. Play a goddamn game. Play the fucking sport. Play baseball. Play football. If you don't beat them in overtime, keep fucking playing until somebody goddamn wins.
That's the NFL doesn't want to do that though because of
player safety, and I understand that.
That's why you limit it down to one possession. Each team, they have to, if they score a touchdown, they have to go for a 2-point conversion. But no matter what, each team gets the ball, and if at the end of that you're tied, you go to a shootout from the kickers. That's I like the shootout from the kickers. Bring a little bit of hockey into it.
Okay, so I do like that just because of the fun element, but
yeah, it's don't get me wrong. We talked earlier about we don't like changing up the rules of sports and stuff like that. But if we're going to, let's fucking do something that's wild. Because I can think of
change the rules. Let's fucking go as far right or left as possible. Like let's.
I like the idea of drinking games behind an NFL shootout. I think the rarity of an NFL shootout from kickers is going to be high. So when it happens, everyone's going to be tuning in to watch an NFL shootout between kickers.
Unless you're a Ravens fan and then you know you're going to win, and you just watch somebody get shithoused.
But think of the odds of that happening. You one of 32 teams, and typically in a overtime, one team is not going to score a touchdown probably, but if both score a touchdown, are both going to score a 2-point conversion? Lower odds. So the chance of it ever getting to a shootout from the kickers is very low, and I think that's just super dramatic football at that point and great drinking games.
We need to end the tie in the NFL. The tie is bullshit. This is not fucking soccer. We're not playing fucking soccer. We got grown men running into each other, trying to wreck the other person's life, essentially. And we're going to have a fucking tie. Ties have got to end.
It's like kissing your sister.
It's not kissing your sister. It's worse than that. I don't know what's worse than kissing your sister.
Pedophilia.
See, that's why I was worried we were going to go fucking super dark, and that's where we went. But
No.
ties are terrible. Ties suck. There's nothing good about a tie.
Yeah, I hate ties.
Get rid of the fucking tie.
I hate
Like,
ties.
I want a winner. You know what the NHL did a really good job of? There were so many ties going on in the
shootouts.
NHL. The only time they had shootouts for a long time was the playoffs. And then they instituted them in the regular season. And then
Well, that's why I said your
after
kicker.
the shootout, then there was a potential tie.
Your kicker shootout is in the playoffs only, and it's
No,
each
no,
kicker
no,
gets
no,
5
no.
kicks.
No, I want the same NHL prospect. I don't want ties in the regular season. The only time the NHL has ties is after a shootout. After they tie each other in a shootout, they have ties. Like, that's what I want. I don't want fucking ties.
Well, with the kicker shootout, you keep moving them back 5-10 yards each time. Sooner or later, it's a minimum of 5 kicks, but then after that, they just keep moving back. Someone's not going to make it. And if they both get to, like, let's say 65 yards,
Tomorrow.
they both get pushed back to 65 yards, and neither of them can make it. Then the head coaches have to go out there and see who can jack off the quickest.
I don't like that, but
We're going wild, man. You said go as far left and right as possible. We're gonna have a coach jack off session.
no one fucking ties.
You think Stefanski doesn't have the bravado to shoot fucking thick hot
That
white
man
cum all
has
over the place quicker than Bill Belichick?
No doubts about it. You see that goddamn luscious beard?
Stefanski over Belichick, he's going to spray hot white frothy cum up way quicker than Belichick.
Well,
That's what we've gotten to in the NFL. We need to have a jack-off competition between coaches. Let's move on, because this is getting out of hand. All right? We're going to go into NFL draft prospects, all right? Something that we've been doing weekly, and we are going to go into the defense. We've covered all of our offensive guys, and now we're getting into defense, all right? And this is the Lineman Lounge, so we're going to start off with the defensive line, all right? So whether you're in a 4-3 team or a 3-4 team or a hybrid of those, you're going to have down linemen and you're going to have edge defenders. So you've got your interior defensive lineman, your nose tackle, your 1 tech, your 3 tech. You're going to have your 0 techs potentially, and then you're going to have your edge guys. In a 4-3, that's going to be your left defensive end and your right defensive end. Or in a 3-4, you're going to have guys who are kind of almost that hybrid, like a big linebacker who can also rush the passer by standing up. All right. So in the draft, we've got a pretty good draft class, especially of edge defenders, but a pretty good crop of guys in the
That's
interior.
why I want to start with the edge.
All right, so we'll start off with that edge, and I have PFF's rankings up here. I don't know if you have the same ones or not, but I've got.
I do not, but I have some numbers from the combine. I have a lot of interesting things that came out of this. Guys that I thought were faster, guys that didn't run but decided to do certain things, and I have a crazy number that I don't think I've ever seen before when we come to numbers at the combine for edge defenders.
Yeah, and we talked about some of the combine numbers might be inflated a little bit, but we're still looking at a stronger.
Even if they are inflated, there's a number that I see that is just outlandish. Like, there's no way this is possible. But it also scares me because if you're this fast as an edge defender, you might have some problems. So let's get into the guys. Number 1 pick in the draft, I think is going to actually be a lot different. I don't know we're going offensive line because we're looking at the Jags, right? Looking at the Jags, number 1 pick. They need a ton of help all over the place.
I'm on board with you. I'm pretty sure here. I don't think there's any question in my mind. I think 75% sure that this will be the guy. I think he's the next JJ. I think he's the next JJ Watt. Aiden Hutchinson out of Michigan.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, this kid is he does nothing special. There is nothing about him that you say is super special. Doesn't run fast. I mean, he benched pretty good. Had a decent vertical. Had a decent broad jump. But what he does is produce. That's what this kid does. Like, you put him in a defensive situation where he's not going to be the guy. I think this guy becomes the guy. Like, he is very, very good. He is high motor, very much a JJ Watt type guy. I think Aiden Hutchinson goes probably number 1 in this draft, and I kind of like him, and it hurts me to say that because he's a Michigan guy.
Yeah, I like Aiden Hutchinson a lot. Like I said, he to me is next JJ Watt. He has. We talk about moxie. He's got the moxie. That's one. If they're
bro.
When you're talking about number 1 overall prospects, they get so dissected by people, and that's the one hit that they really have on him is he's not your polished quarterback type of guy talking as a number 1 overall prospect. And I don't give a fuck.
So fuck that. I don't give a shit about him.
That's the only negative I've ever heard about him is that people might not like his attitude. If I'm an NFL GM or coach, I love that attitude from a defensive lineman who's going out there to kill the quarterback, right? Aiden Hutchinson, I love him. I think, like I said, next to J.J. Watt, I think he starts off at that edge, and then he ends up potentially working into some of those passing sets where he can rotate interior as like a 3-tech type of guy. I think he's great as that.
3. I really like him as a 3 if he puts on about 10, 15 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, he could be a dominant 3, in my opinion. Like,
he is your complete edge defender against the run, against the pass in a 3-4, in a 4-3. Don't matter. The guy is all that you want from an edge guy.
Yeah, the guy's legit. I mean, I don't know what else you can say. Now, like I said, he didn't do anything special at the draft. At his, I don't know if he's had a pro day yet. I think it's coming up this week or next week.
Oh, actually, no. They had the pro day. I don't know that he competed at the pro day, but they had the pro day because his guy opposite of him, David Ojabo, tore his Achilles at the pro day.
Yeah, he did.
And so David Ojabo, who's number 5 on the PFF list, and on other mock drafts and stuff like that, he was up as high as even like the number 2 or number 3 edge guy. David Ojabo tore his Achilles, which is
I had him a
really
lower. But, I mean,
it's really rough to see. I think he's lower because he doesn't fit with any team. I think Hutchinson fits with every single team in the league. Ojabo is a little bit of a different fit.
He is a tweener, in my opinion.
Yeah, but phenomenal. Ojabo is phenomenal. People are going to get whoever drafts him. He will be lucky to play towards the end of the year. Obviously, Achilles, we saw the running back from the Rams come back at the end of the year and still be able to play. I think Ojabo, you'll see him towards the end of the year, but it can take a year or two for a defensive lineman to get up to speed, especially when you haven't had your offseason and everything like that. Someone's going to get a gem out of David Ojabo, and he's going to be an early second round type of pick because of his injury. You're losing out on him for a good part of this year.
But the first time we've seen this, right? Was it Mark Sweat, right? Who had an injury and then had to sit out for a little bit and then came in and had a great sophomore year. Like that happens all the time with these guys. It's not unnatural to see that.
Yeah, to me, the biggest version of this is Jeffrey Simmons for the Titans, defensive end for the Titans, and an interior guy. Jeffrey Simmons was considered potentially the best interior, like 3-tech guy or defensive end, one of the best, if not like probably top 2-3 in his draft class. And then he tore, I believe his ACL or something like that right before the combine and everything. and people knew he was probably not playing his first year. And this guy is incredible. He's outstanding. One of the best defensive linemen in the league. You don't hear about him as much because he wasn't drafted in that first round. And the Titans took a chance on him, knew that they were waiting a year, and he's turned out to be one of the best defensive linemen in the game. And, and great on them for doing it.
So you're right. It was Jeffrey Simmons who I was thinking about, who had the injury late in, like, it wasn't Senior Bowl. It was, I think, in a fucking pro day. Yep,
or
pro day. Something happened, and everybody sees, oh, man, this guy's a stud, right? And something happened. Okay, so we got to move off him. Ojabo is one of those guys. And Ojabo can do a lot. This kid is fast as fuck coming off the edge. He runs a 4.55 off the edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
He did not bench. Let's see what he's got on the vertical. He's got all of this shit pulled up. Ojabo, 35-inch vertical. So he is quick. He's explosive with a 35-inch vertical. Like the 10-2 broad jump. Everything about this kid screams athletic. He just had a bad break, and he's going to, have a problem with he got injured. He's going to fall to the second round because of it. But somebody's getting a steal with that kid.
Yeah. If anything, I almost see it working out in his favor. It sucks. It sucks to have those injuries.
I hate to say that.
But when you see like a Jeffrey Simmons, he ends up going to a good team that is willing to take a chance on him in a later round. There's less pressure. He's able to develop correctly, and it works out really well. Someone's going to go after David Ojabo, it's going to be a team in a good situation already, a pretty solid situation, and then when they get him back, it's just going to make their situation fucking exponentially better. Ojabo's going to probably be one of those guys that goes to a team that is going to say, we can afford to waste a second-round pick on this guy, knowing that we're not going to get him for most of the year, and probably not really see him until the next season and see what he can do. They're going to be fine with that because the team's already going to be good. And then he's going to come into a situation where he's got good talent around him, right? So Ojabo, he's only played 26 career snaps in football before 2021.
Yeah.
So he's very raw.
Yeah.
But in his last season here at Michigan, he received an 86.9 pass rushing grade on 300 pass rushing snaps. Very, very good. He's only scratching the surface of what he can
raw.
do.
The kid is raw, and he got injured, and if he sits somewhere where he has a chance to learn, like Cleveland,
or Minnesota,
who has a second round pick that I don't know what they're doing with yet. He could be so fucking good, especially after we signed Jadeveon Clowney to a 1-year deal, and then he's gone, and then he learns from Clowney and Garrett and comes back. I really, really like this kid. It sucked to see him go down.
Yeah.
It sucked to see the coaches' reactions after he went down. Listen, I'm not a pro coach. I'm not a college coach. Fuck, I don't even coach high school. I coach kids at this point. I coach 8, 9, 10-year-olds, right? When I see a kid go down, my first reaction is come on the field, make sure they're okay. I mean, I've been conditioned to that now. The look from the league and scouts and everybody else when he went down was terrible. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. There's a lot of media stuff about like people weren't reacting how you would expect them to react to him going down, where they're more in a manner of like, oh shit, this person's hurt, we should come to his aid, and more of just kind of like, oh well, fuck, there goes the guy we came here to see.
Hey, there's a prospect. Let's get the fuck out of here.
They went to go see a movie and they decided to walk out on it because they didn't like what they saw.
Yeah, it was not a great look.
What's up, guys? Dave Weinerman.
Hey,
how's it going, buddy?
Dave. is back in the chat.
Yeah, Dave was out shooting earlier today, if I remember correctly.
Shooting
Some guns like a good red-blooded American.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So, keep on going down this list. Next, number 2, we have Kayvon Thibodeau. Kayvon Thibodeau out of Oregon was considered the number 1 prospect prior to the season started. Yeah. He's dropped a little bit. I think that is more of the situation of we're going through the pre-draft process where people rise and fall when they've done nothing. Thibodeau is going to be probably a top 10 pick. Someone's going to get a great value out of him, a potential first-round type of guy. And I mean, he does everything really well. He's got great first step. He needs some refinement, but who doesn't?
So, the big knock on Thibodeau is his motor. Like, if he's not engaged, he's just kind of there. Hi, kitty cat in the background. He's just not going to do it.
Yep. Dave says he did do some shooting and a gaming tournament.
Very nice. Hope you won.
What type of gaming, Dave? Was it online gaming? Or
online gaming?
Magic the Gathering?
American motherfuckers and the Call of Duty.
As an aside, not to completely promote myself, Mike, look to your right. Yep. Mike, look, there you go.
Got
it. I am, like I said, this is going to be my streaming studio. I am starting up a gaming channel, Norsk TV. I'll probably promote it here further on. I need to go get a cable to make my shit work. I'm pretty sure this afternoon.
We're absolutely going to pump Norsk TV for the gaming.
I might get a little bit dirtier on there because I like to talk shit. And for David, $20 is $20, and Vanilla Gorilla / Vanilla Chinchilla / who knows these days. It was a Warzone tournament. David, I did re-download Warzone on a new account yesterday because I got banned for cheating with my 1.1 KD. Dog shit, fucking dog water. I did re-download Warzone last night. I started leveling some fucking guns so that way we can play together. Alright? And I have another game that just came out in the past day or two that I'm thinking about possibly playing, maybe even streaming tonight if I can get my shit to work correctly. We'll see. But back to football.
Well, hold on. So we're gonna do that. I stink out loud at Warzone and the fucking gaming because I've played with the Vanilla Gorilla, Dave, a couple times, and I fucking stink out loud. I am not good at that. However, you guys have kind of inspired me. There may be some point where Sleeveless Mike hops into the gaming realm, but it will only be probably sports games. Stick with the sports podcast theme. However, you kind of coined the name, the No Sleeves Network. Hopefully, will continue.
NSN, baby.
NSN, baby. So that is an acronym all of our military friends will be very familiar with. And yeah, so I'm excited about that. Kirby.
Yeah, Kirby. I'm assuming the old game with the little like piece of gum or something like that. That is not the case. It is not Kirby. It is a Tina's Tiny Wonderland. Is what I'm thinking about playing. Borderlands. The Borderlands series, they came out with a new game. It's a looter shooter, and I watched a little bit of it last night. It looks pretty fucking fun, and I might give it a go.
I was at Borderlands 3? Borderlands 3? What was the last one that came out?
2, maybe.
No, because there was one that came out after Borderlands
3.
Yeah, 3. Okay, so.
3 came out in the last year or two.
Okay, yeah, so I hopped on that. It's fun. But as we're talking about videos, I'm going to go take a piss.
Alrighty.
And then we'll hop back into the lineman.
Absolutely. I'm going to kick on with some of our defensive linemen here. Alright. So, Kayvon Thibodeau, I think, like I said, going to be a top 10 pick. People talk about his motor. I don't know that it's going to be as big of an issue. He had the injury this year against Ohio State. But I think that he will be a very, very solid defensive end for people. He does everything well. Rush the passer, defend the rush. He's going to be a very solid defensive end for somebody. And I think, is getting dropped more in the draft process because of just the natural way that the draft process goes. People rise and fall without doing even pro days, without the combine. It normally happens with quarterbacks, but we don't have those top tier quarterbacks this year, so you're going to see rise and fall from some of these guys without them doing a whole lot. It's going to be postulation. Teams already have their scouting done on these players. The scouting combine, the Senior Bowl, their pro days, those are maybe 5 to 10% of the information that they have on the guys and what they're going to decide on them. It's going to be minimized to those other small events, whereas they've already kind of decided what they like and don't like in the guy, and it's not going to move their picks a lot. These are the pundits that will rise them and fall them. So Kayvon Thibodeaux has long since been considered a top 10 pick. He's, for a long time, number 1 overall pick. I still see him going in the top 10. But number 4 on PFF's list, who I actually think number 4 will end up being the second defensive end or edge rusher taken off the board, Travon Walker out of Georgia. So Travon Walker, elite out of Georgia. Georgia had a phenomenal defense. He's 6'5", 275. He dropped into coverage this season, managed a pass breakup. He is working on his pass rushing skills, but with a good defensive line coach, those pass rushing skills will come along. Travon Walker, I think, is a sneaky second defensive end off the board as PFF's number 4 defensive end.
Okay. So I missed a little bit while I was taking a piss. I heard we talked about Thibodeaux, we talked about Hutchinson, we talked about Ojagbo. Where did we go right after that? Was it right here?
I went straight into Travon Walker. He's the number 4 on PFF's list. I think he's going to be the second guy off the board at the defensive end or edge rushing position.
Okay, so this kid has been very good. He's very athletic. He's very dominant. He was really good at Georgia. And we're talking about the best defense in college football that we've seen in actually quite some fucking time, right? Like, everyone was talking about how dominant this Georgia defense is. And this guy was kind of a linchpin up front. Travon Walker is a fucking stud. I mean, he is fast. He runs a 4.51. Let me look. Travon Walker. Oh, he did not bench. What did he jump? Jumped 35 and a half. Broad jump. He went 10 and 3 inches. Travon Walker, second fastest 3-cone time behind Aiden Hutchinson, 6.89. Right, Travon Walker in the fucking 20-yard shuttle, 4.32. Like, this guy is supremely athletic. We've seen the production as well. Like, I don't want to call him a height, weight, speed guy, but he tested phenomenally at everything he did at the combine. We saw the production on the field. This kid can play. I think Aiden Hutchinson might be the best guy. If I'm taking a second guy, I'm taking this kid over Thibodeaux, though.
Yeah, that's like I said. I think that he could definitely be the second guy off the board at the edge defender. I think your big names. He's not as big of a name for whatever reason, but Aiden Hutchinson and Kayvon Thibodeaux get a lot of the look.
And everybody on that Georgia defense was so good. Like,
but
I think they're going to have like fucking 6 or 7 guys drafted off that defense.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about sleepers.
2 linebackers and I think a safety. We're getting drafted at some point.
We're going to talk about sleepers here in a bit for the edge rushers and interior defensive linemen, but I think people are sleeping on Travon Walker.
He's so supreme. Like, this guy has put up numbers that we have not seen from all the athletic standpoints in quite a while. Now, he doesn't have the fastest 40. He doesn't have the highest vertical. He doesn't have the highest broad jump. He doesn't have the fastest 3-cone. He doesn't have the fastest 20. But he is basically top 5 in all of these things. Like, I want athletic fucking edge rushers. And this kid can play, in my opinion, he could play in a 3-4. He could play in a 4-3. Like, this kid's fucking legit.
Yeah. Like I said, I think people were sleeping on him because Trayvon Walker is just not a big name compared to the top 3 on PFF's list. Like I said, Aiden Hutchinson, Kayvon Thibodeau, and the next guy that we're going to talk about here, George Karlaftis, the Greek Freak, he's got a name to him.
I know I'm not sold, though, man. I like the kid. I think this is a possibility for a mid-20s pick. I think that
First rounder, no doubt. First rounder, no doubt.
First rounder, yeah. I don't see him in the same vein that I see Trayvon Walker. He's so supremely athletic. Like, at this point, technique's a little hard to teach, but if you get him opposite of somebody who has some pass rush moves, or even a guy who's retired, who can mentor this kid, he has every athletic attribute that you could possibly want. You just got to teach him a little bit more technique. I'll keep going. Why don't you go ahead and reach down there for the alcohol, big guy?
Not the alcohol, it's for the pussy.
Oh,
yeah.
pussy.
Yeah. I like Karlaftis a lot. I think that he is a set-it-and-forget-it defensive end. He's not like your pass rush guy.
It's his only position, though. I think he only plays in a 4-3, and I think
he's best set for a 4-3, yeah.
Yeah, he's a 4-3 defensive end. I think Trayvon could actually transition to a 3-4 linebacker. He has a similar athleticism that we saw Khalil Mack early on. Not quite as fast, but I think he would actually transition better to that than Khalil Mack did. But I like Kalifas is how you say his name? Is that how you say it?
Karlaftis, the Greek Freak.
Karlaftis.
George Karlaftis. And what I like about Karlaftis is that he, like I said, set it and forget it defensive end. He's going to be absolutely solid. Rush, pass, don't matter. Going to be solid. And he's probably going to be one of those top 10, top 20 defensive ends in the league.
I thought he would fall a little farther, but maybe I'm wrong.
But as far as your position in the draft where he's taken, first round, yes, 20-ish is his range probably. Because
that's right.
When you limit yourself to a 3-4 or 4-3, like we said, he's more of a 4-3 guy. Mm-hmm. Not all the teams play 4-3, so that's going to limit his availability. I think he could play in a 3-4, but I prefer him in a 4-3. And
me too.
That will end up dropping him to a little bit more of that 20 range. But I like Karlaftis a lot. And again, he's kind of more of a raw guy, like very good, but he's a little bit more raw because he's a Greek dude. He's working into the game of football. All right. But so working through our list, we talked Aiden Hutchinson, we talked Kayvon Thibodeau, Karlaftis, Trayvon Walker, David Ojabo. All right. Number 6 on the list, a guy that near and dear to my heart, Jermaine Johnson, Florida State. Okay. Jermaine Johnson, he was on Georgia and transferred to Florida State because Georgia has such a fucking good defense that he wasn't able to get as much playing time. So he went to Florida State. And what did he do at Florida State? He dominated. One of the best edge setters in the game. He's not as much of a run guy, but he's phenomenal in the pass game with very limited pass rush moves. That's the thing. He's limited in his pass rush moves right now. And if a defensive line coach is able to add a couple more moves to him, he's going to be a pass rush specialist, really good. But reason why he's near and dear to my heart, he's an Eden Prairie, Minnesota guy, just down the street from where I grew up. Gotta love seeing some local Minnesota guys make it up here high on the draft board. The number 6 PFF ranked defensive end / edge rusher on their board. Their big board, he's ranked number 26. He looked real good in the Senior Bowl. He performed well at the Combine. And I like him. He is, like I said, more of a pure pass rusher. I think he fits in better as a 4-3 defensive end. But that being said, he's a little bit light for a 3-4, but he looks better as a 3-4 stand-up, 2-point stance type of guy. So he's a little bit of a tweener, but his frame actually looks like he could build up to be more of that 3-4 defensive end edge guy on a 3-4 team if he was to put on another 10, 15, 20 pounds. So I like Jermaine Johnson a lot. I've seen him mocked as high as like in the 10 range to being towards the back end of the first round. I think he definitely goes first round. But I like Jermaine Johnson a lot. Part of that is just me being a Minnesota sports fan.
Well, and this is a guy that was mocked in the first round. They actually had him mocked to Cleveland for a while because how well he performed. Like, this is a guy that could. I'm not saying he will. I think he probably will. As a first round pick, like he's legit. But I'm going to talk about another guy here in a little bit. That when you get these kind of test numbers, he's a guy that tested very well, looked pretty good, was there at Georgia, transferred. Like he can do a lot of things. You have to get him in the right spot. I think you have to draft him to a 3-4 team. I don't think
3-4 team, bulk up, and then he ends up being a pass rush specialist.
Yeah, I don't think he projects as a 4-3 right off the edge guy. Like I think he's going to need a big bodied guy to take up a little bit of space. But I like this guy. I like this guy. He's been.
I think he has the pass rush capability of Chase from Washington, the Commanders. Who's their edge rusher? I think of his name.
Which one? You talking about Ohio State? Chase, not Edmonds.
Yeah. I wanted to say Chase Edmonds. I know that's the running back.
God damn it. Google. We're hitting Google machine.
Who can get it first? Commanders. Yeah, sure. I'm drunk, so I spelled depth chart with an extra D. Chase Young.
That's it, Chase Young.
Yeah.
He's not quite as athletic as Chase Young.
I think he has Chase Young pass rushing potential, but he's not as well refined and overall as good of a defensive end as a Chase Young. That's where I'm at with him, especially if he were to bulk up. And like I said, I love his pass rushing capability. He had 23 run stops and 14 sacks last year, so he can do both. But I still see him more of a pass rushing specialist.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm on that. So I'm going to give you guys a name that I did not know before this whole draft process started. I don't think anybody was looking at this guy. But I guarantee a lot of teams are definitely going to look at this kid now because he tested off the charts. Amari Barno from Virginia Tech. Now, we hear speed is important off the edge, right? We want speed rushers, right? We want to get after the quarterback, right? And this kid, Amari Barno, out of Virginia Tech, ran, I think, maybe the fastest 40 out of any edge rusher that they've had in probably 10 years. Any guesses on what this kid's 40 time is, unless you got it pulled up?
I got the tab open, but I won't look for you. I'm going to say 4.55.
4.36. That is insanely fast for a fucking edge rusher.
What's his height weight?
Hold on, I gotta pull it up. Let me hit the Google machine.
Because that's the thing, is that obviously a guy that's a little bit lighter in frame that's more set for a 4.3 or an outside linebacker in general in a 4.3, they could run those faster times, but it'll be more impressive to me, like one of our interior defensive guys that we're going to talk about here, if they're able to put up those numbers at a bigger size.
Hold on. Let me see if I can get it. Mari. Nope, I spelled that name entirely wrong.
We have been drinking, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, we have. M-R-E.
Mari who?
Barno.
235.66. So that is lean.
That is a very that profiles to me as an outside linebacker, right?
I mean,
That's
6'6" is tall for an outside linebacker, but 235 at that frame, he has to be thin.
Yeah, I mean he's a little slider guy. He is absolutely not going to light up your bench press or things like that. But god damn, you
From Virginia Tech, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So purely looking at pictures of the guy, he hasn't filled out his frame yet at all. And that means that's a good thing. He absolutely can. I could see this guy up to 250, 255 and stuff like that. He's going to be a very athletic 3-4 outside linebacker, edge guy, or a good defensive end in a 4-3.
Like this kid tested off the fucking charts. Like his 40, 4.36. What's his vertical? 37-inch vertical. Broad jump, 10-11. So he's first in the 40. He's first in the broad jump. He is 1, 2, 3. He's sixth in the vertical. Like this kid is supremely athletic. Like he's got to understand the nuances of the game. But god damn, like when I see numbers like that out of a D end, holy shit.
Yep.
That reminds me of a Vernon Davis type number on what he does in the combine. Like, you don't expect tight ends to run that fast. You don't expect a fucking D end to run a 4.36. If you put this kid outside linebacker, he is all over the fucking field. Like,
so I've got two guys here that are sleepers for me. Both of them are going to be day 3 picks. And the guy that you just brought up, Amari Barno, I feel like he'll probably end up projecting to a day 3 pick because you need at least a year of weight room on this guy to get him to be competent.
He's going to take some seasoning. You got to put at least 10 pounds on this kid.
Yep. And both of these two guys I'm going to talk about that I've kind of honed in on, which is tough because there's so many guys. These are both day 3 picks, in my opinion. There's a lot of day 3 guys that are very talented edge rushers that are going to, after a year or 2, maybe 3 of seasoning in the NFL, weight room time, are going to be solid, at least rotational guys. But the two guys I got here are Ali Fayyad from Western Michigan and D'Angelo Malone from Western Kentucky. So Fayyad, he's undersized as far as his height. He's only 6'2". That's why in both of these guys, actually, I project as being a 3-4 type of guy, where they're more of like that hybrid linebacker, defensive end, two-point stance. But Fayyad, 6'2", 248, out of Western Michigan. The thing I really like about him is extremely high motor, and that has caused him to be very productive in the pass rush. Shrine Bowl looked very good. One-on-ones did not work on him. He needed to be double covered in the Shrine Bowl on pass rushes. Good. He's already got a good set of moves, whether it's spin moves, fake spins, ghost rushes where he kind of delays a little bit and then goes. And his pass rushing grade at the Shrine Bowl was over 90 on PFS ratings. It's been over 90 the last 2 seasons there at Western Michigan. He is going to be a day 3 guy because of his size and because he is purely a pass rush guy at this point. But if you're able to get him in the 4th, 5th, 6th round and give him a year of time in the weight room, pack on a little bit of weight, and not have him be your number 1 guy, but have him be in there on pass rush downs, he's going to be a good pass rush specialist in my opinion. Then the second guy that I got here, D'Angelo Malone, again, he's got a couple things working against him, and that is smaller size. Now, he's 6'4", but he's only 240 pounds. It's still 5 pounds more than your guy that you talked about, Amari Barno. Amari Barno, like I said, 6'6", 235.
Yeah,
this guy's got 5 pounds on him, but he's two inches shorter, which is light for that edge defender class. But again, you put on a little bit of weight on him. 6'4" is perfectly fine for the height at that point. Beyond that, he was playing in a small school, Western Kentucky. So you have to take some of the stats. True. But you got to take some of the stats with a grain of salt, right? And so the stats are, he had 59 tackles last year, over his career there at Western Kentucky, 59 tackles and 32.5 sacks. So the guy is able to find the quarterback over his time at college.
I love production.
Dominant pass rusher, showed up well at the Senior Bowl. He projects to be that 3-4 outside linebacker and more of a pass rush specialist, but he has the speed and the flexibility to be a good pass rusher and coverage a little bit at that next level. So that's why I like him in the 3-4 scheme. I like him as a pass rush specialist on pass rushing downs. And as more so than the guy I first talked about, Ali Fayyad, I think that D'Angelo Malone will end up being a starter in the league as a 3-4 edge guy. And they'll be taking both. I think they're both probably 5th round guys. But I think in 2 to 3 years, Malone put on 10, 15 pounds as a pass rush guy. He can break the lineup as a starting edge defender for your team.
So we have talked a lot about guys that need kind of a system fit, right? Or guys we get a lot of kids coming out of college who need time in an NFL locker room. They need time in an NFL weight room. That they need to add on a little bit of weight. They need to add on a little bit of strength. And when we're talking about these kinds of guys, man, like if you can get a solid guy who's got a lot of pass rush moves, like if you have a lot of moves and you can add that athleticism, especially in an NFL locker room, NFL weight room, those guys can be dangerous because we talked about this. Like, there's not a ton of guys in this draft, period, at any position who are surefire, gotta go get them guys, right? This is a depth draft. And that's a guy you can go and get in depth and you can build him, and that's kind of what this draft is. It's not like we have to get this guy. Can you name one guy that you have to go get immediately? This is the guy. He's the number one surefire pick. I don't think we have that in this draft.
Aiden Hutchinson, for me, is the only guy that I think is truly a fit on any team, any defensive scheme, as far as the defensive players go. Like, if you're not going to trade up.
The one guy.
If we're like, obviously we both think he's going to be the number one overall pick. I'm not trading up for that.
No, I'm not either.
But I mean, he's special. But
yeah, I think he
it's
special.
weird.
I think he could be that. But there's no Myles Garrett. There's no surefire.
If Khalil Mack was in this draft, he's the only type of guy that I think I would trade up for. Like, I'm not having a guy stand out to me as much as like that. But Aiden Hutchinson, even saying that I think he's going to be the next J.J. Watt, I don't know that I make the move that I need to trade draft capital for him.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you make the move to go get it? There's not that guy. This is a massive depth draft, and there's a lot of guys in this draft who provide phenomenal depth, who need a little bit of seasoning. Like, and I don't want to say this is going to be one of those drafts that everybody looks back at, there's no the guy. There might be the guy. We're just going to take 3-4 years to find out who the guy is. Hutchinson is the closest guy to the guy, but there's so much potential with so many of these guys, and we haven't even got to the two tackles yet who could fucking just wreck shop.
Yeah, and unless you've got any other sleepers that you want to talk about, I'm ready to move on to those interior guys.
Yeah, I'm ready for the interior guys, man.
All right, awesome. So I disagree a little bit with PFS list, at least as their initial rankings go. as to their top 5 guys. But it's specifically the number 1 guy on their list. But
right,
I'll
so
go through their list as it's set.
Yeah, let's go through their list.
All right. Number 1, Devontae Wyatt out of Georgia. Again, another one of the Georgia tackles. He is explosive, pass rusher, finished with an 84 grade on PFF, and was very dominant at the Senior Bowl. Probably a first-round talent. Very, very good, but he's not my number 1 guy.
Okay, so I'm interested to hear who your number 1 guy is. I really like Devontae Wyatt. I think that our number 1 guy might be the same guy. But go ahead, give me your
Probably.
take.
Number 1 guy's got to be Jordan Davis out of Georgia, man.
Thank you so much. I'm glad that he is the best guy in the interior.
Look, PFF says here on their list as Jordan Davis being the number 1 or number 2 guy in both number 1 and number 2 of Georgia. They say Davis is a one-trick pony, but it's a very impressive trick. He's a 6'6", 360-pound defensive tackle that will not be moved in the run game. But this had to have been written.
We're talking about Wyatt.
No, this is Davis.
Yes. Okay.
Now, you have to assume that this was written before the combine, right?
Maybe. If it's written after the combine, I mean, everybody was on fucking Devontae Wyatt with how big he is and how fast he ran, and like people are enamored with the height, weight, speed, right?
Yeah. But then you get Jordan Davis, who is, again, 6'6", and he was 360 pounds during the season. He cut down a little bit to 341. The motherfucker ran a 4.78.
Yeah.
As a defensive tackle, a guy who projects to be your nose tackle.
As a fucking true fucking nose or a 1 technique.
Yeah, a 1, a 0, a nose. He ran a 4.78 and had a 32-inch vertical jump.
Yeah.
We're not seeing numbers like this until you're talking about like an Aaron Donald. Yeah. And Aaron Donald is
fucking talented, like uber athletic. You can't fucking move it.
Yeah, Aaron Donald is that guy that's 6'2", 300 pounds and like 2% body fat. Jordan Davis has higher body fat. Aaron Donald's an athletic specimen because just like how do you pack that much muscle and that sort of a physique into a guy of his size? Jordan Davis is a bigger dude, and he's putting up athletic numbers that would rival an Aaron Donald. Insane.
His numbers are insane. 4.78, like you said. He's got the fucking 32-inch vertical. His broad jump, 10 and 3 inches. Like,
put it this way: you talk about big,
a foot farther than everybody else. Like this kid is so athletic for his size.
Big wide receivers or athletic tight ends will run in your like slower big wide receivers will run in a 4.5, 4.6 range. Athletic tight ends 4.6, 4.5, or your receiving only option tight ends are going to run in that 4.5 range. Jordan Davis ran a 4.78. You're talking like that's not interior defensive lineman numbers.
No. Everybody wanted to talk about Devontae Wyatt, 4.77, right? He's just supremely athletic. Jordan Davis, ran the second fastest 40, had the second highest vertical, had the biggest broad jump. He is so much more athletic than what I thought he was. This kid is going to be lights out.
Again, Devontae Wyatt, like you said, 4.77, and Devontae Wyatt 4.77, Davis 4.78. So we're talking minimal difference. The difference is Devontae Wyatt is 3 inches shorter and 30 pounds plus lighter.
Yeah, it's.
The defense at Georgia was insane, and these two guys being the top 2 interior defensive linemen shows that. Like, Devontae Wyatt is going to be we're overlooking Wyatt a little bit because
Wyatt's of. Gonna be good. He's going to be so good, but Jordan Davis is going to be better.
It's insane what he was able to do at the combine. Now, combine numbers don't mean everything, but it means something. And the fact that the guy was able to cut weight, get into that shape for the combine, like he's able to mold his body to the type of system that you need. Like you said, he's a nose tackle in this league. He's a 1-tech, 0-tech. He is big. He's a beefy, mountainous nose tackle, size, power. He will fuck up the interior of that offensive line. He's going to be an absolutely solid nose tackle in this league with plus athletic potential to wrestle the passer and stuff like that going forward in his career.
Yeah, and so anybody who is not a football, like if you just kind of watch football passively, right? You watch your team, you're like, okay, so I see the pass rush. We always talk about defensive ends, right? How much they can affect the pass rusher. There is no position. If you can generate a pass rush with this kind of athleticism from the interior defensive line, nothing fucks up a play more in pros, college, high school, fucking youth football other than pressure up the middle. Anything coming up the middle wrecks an offense. And this guy is a pass rusher from a 0 or a 1 technique. The kid is insane.
Yep. So, Jordan Davis, top 10 guy, in my opinion. He will be taking top 10. Wyatt Davis, or it's not Wyatt Davis, Devontae Wyatt will be taken in the first round. He's going to be past the 10th pick, 10 to 32. I think he'll be a first-round guy.
I think Jordan Davis should be the first interior guy off the board. I don't know if everybody will see it the same way. But if I'm taking an interior defensive lineman and I want just a fucking game record, I'm taking Jordan Davis. I'm taking him over Devontae Wyatt.
I feel like both of our teams would love to have him. Both the Browns and the Vikings.
God. I would kill, but I don't have a first-round pick anymore.
Yeah.
So this kid is special.
Yep.
He is going to be special.
So beyond that, our 3, 4, 5 guys are Travis Jones from UConn, who I think will get slept on a little bit. He'll be a second-round guy, but he's going to be extremely solid, 6'5", 333, space-eating nose tackle. You've got Logan Hall, who's 6'6", 260, so he's very slight in the frame, but he's going to be a 3-tech type of guy out of Houston. And then a guy that I think is slept on even more is Perry and Winfrey from Oklahoma. His pass rush is good. He got a 79.3 pass rush grade, but he's moved a little bit too much in the run game. But at the Senior Bowl and the combine, he looked very, very good. He did not fuck up on a single one-on-one in the Senior Bowl practices. Perry and Winfrey is going to be a guy that you'll get in the second or third round. That will be like an immediate starter type of guy. He's their 5th guy in this list, but I think that in other drafts he could be up higher, and he's overlooked a little bit because of that. Those are your top 5 guys. There's a lot of other names out there, and one guy, I've got one guy as a sleeper. I'm trying to limit my sleepers on this because I could pick like 4 or 5 guys.
One guy I got as a sleeper, and this is going to sound like an absolute fucking homer pick. Haskell Garrett, man. Haskell Garrett at Ohio State. The kid is... I watched every Ohio State game. The kid causes so much disruption. Now, he's going to have to do a little bit more when we get into the NFL. But, man, this is a day 3 pick that could be a rotational piece on your defensive line that just really causes some havoc. Really good at rushing the passer from that one technique. Like, Haskell Garrett's my guy for that sleeper pick. There's this interior defensive line. This is a huge, huge draft for that group because they are so deep at what they can do.
Mm. And my guy for my sleeper, he's the number 8 on PFS list, Neil Farrell Jr. out of LSU. So he ran a 4.51 at the combine, 6'4", 330. He is a nose tackle guy, but I see him as being a 3-tech on pass rushing downs. He could play one of those, not edge, but he could be a 3-4 guy, just not the nose tackle. He's
slider.
He's a run stuffing interior defensive lineman type of guy. 89.9 run defense grade from PFF, and a 78.8 in the pass rushing grade. But at the Senior Bowl, he won almost every single one-on-one pass rush opportunity that he had. Obviously, that ain't a one-on-one game when you're on the field on Sundays, but he's got a high motor, powerful guy. He's going to be solid in the run game, and if you're able to get some upside in the pass game on regular downs or on pass downs, having him in there as like a 3-tech, that's the type of guy that I like to see. He, I think, will be a top-tier backup, if not breaking into the starting lineup as a 5th-round guy by his 3rd year or so.
All right. I mean, I talked about my sleeper guy. This defensive line draft is going to be so good. They're going to be so fucking good.
Yep. Very solid. And that's a lot of the story of this draft is that you don't have the super top-end talents in the draft. But you have guys that are going to be constant contributors, extremely good backups, and breaking into starting lineups.
You're looking at day 3 guys that could actually make an impact on that team, no matter where they go. They're just, it's so deep. There's not the number one in any position. There is not the number one guy, with the exception of a safety. We're going to talk about it. Like, there's not many guys who are like, this is the guy. Like, he is the fucking bee's knees. This D-line draft is going to be very good. If you need interior defensive lines, this is a great year to fucking need one, because you can get guys day 2, day 3 who are going to contribute.
Yep, absolutely. All right, man. Well, that was a long show, 3 hours, just over 3 hours now. I think we probably are ready to wrap it up.
Yeah, we have hammered so much football. We talked early on about baseball. We had fucking youth sports. We were in it today. We were just getting it.
Absolutely.
We had a lot of vanilla gorilla. $20 is $20 getting involved. And guys, if you like video games or anything like that, go check out $20 is $20. If you like food, go check out Vanilla Gorilla. Same dude, same badass personality. Evo's rocking the fucking super pink hat for $20 is $20.
Ooh,
if you guys go ahead.
I do want to throw out one thing. All right. My alma mater, Minnesota State University, Pride, Adam Thielen, Minnesota Vikings wide receiver. We're a hockey school, Minnesota State, the Mavericks, and we've been the number one rated team for pretty much the entire year collegiately in hockey. And the Frozen Four is going on right now. Again, Minnesota State's been the number one rated team. They are playing Notre Dame right now. They just finished up the second period in their Frozen Four.
Nice.
And Minnesota's winning 1-0 over Notre Dame right now. So that's been my college focus recently, has been watching my hockey team. So go Mavericks. Hopefully we make it to the championship game and get our first ever Frozen Four title. I'm super excited to watch that.
I've actually been kind of trying to follow a little bit along with hockey as well. And huge shout out. I don't know the last time this has happened. I knew Ohio State had a pretty good hockey program. They're in that area where they should have a pretty decent hockey program. But the Ohio State women's hockey team absolutely went out, showed out, and came home with a national fucking championship from their Frozen Four. Ohio State women's hockey just balling out. That is something that is fantastic. I don't know if my girls will ever, learn how to skate as well as they need to. I am not a skater. I knew how to skate in a straight line and then turn. If I had to stop, I was slapping into the boards. But that Ohio State girls team absolutely showed out, got a fucking national championship. Good for those Ohio State women's hockey team. There's just, I don't care what sport we're talking about. It could be baseball, football, fucking basketball.
Women's cricket.
Women's motherfucking cricket. Dave, like anytime that a team that you root for, like I am all in Ohio State. I am all in Cleveland. There's just so many good things coming for those teams, those universities. Good for them. I wanted to highlight those guys as well since you talked about the Frozen Four. Ohio State men's did not make it this year. However, they do have a pretty goddamn good hockey team. But is that it?
Yeah.
Did we hit it all?
Yeah, I think that's it, man. And let me tell you what, I know you had to pee once during the pod, but
I had to, dude. It was not gonna.
I am at the brink of destruction, and I have been for like 45 minutes. So we have to wrap this up before I piss all over my computer screens.
Get the fuck out of here, guys. This is the Lineman Lounge. Okay, we appreciate everything you guys do for us. If you're on our Facebook page, all the memes, all the shit you guys drop, because there's a ton of action on the Facebook page, on the Twitter. We're starting to gain some more followers. I'm gonna hop in on a what is it called? Spaces tonight. If you guys are on Twitter and you guys do Spaces, the Browns After Dark is a great fucking space to be in. And Twitter Spaces is kind of a cool place where everybody gets to you can request to speak, you can ask your questions. I would like to try to do some more spaces of our own. But guys, thank you so much for everything that you do to support us. We got Torres, we got all those people out there who are constantly in here. $20 is $20. You guys rock. We're gonna try to continue to grow the whole No Sleeves Network, and I cannot thank you enough for what you do, because your positive feedback feeds all of the shit that you guys see here. So
yep, I got nothing else other than I gotta piss, man.
All right, guys. He was gonna take a piss. This is the Lineman Lounge. This is a weird portion of Hangar 6. The sleeves. It's not very big anymore. They're always optional. And we thank you guys. We love you guys. We'll be back next week, swinging their nuts as always. See
ya.
Welcome to the Lineman Lounge, hosted by Mike and Evo, calling their shots and being outlandish.
Breaking news from the Lineman Lounge. My fantasy football team just took a huge fucking hit. And that also makes it even more likely that the Raiders are going to beat the Ravens on Monday night. Le'Veon Bell is about to be your starter. Latavius Murray is going to go there as well. Jesus, fuck my ass.
Get ready for the thickest podcast in the game. Coming to you from Hangar 6, where sleeves are optional. Strap in. The show starts right now.